I'm telling you, I'm from the country. It's
Well,
not well liked.
yes,
It's
yes.
popular amongst not all, some PMP supporters. Because I know a lady as a strong PMP that can't stand him. Just in
Carl,
persona,
Carl,
yeah.
Carl. Hardly Shah is loved by many and hate by many in the constituency.
Yes.
Um, it comes down to that doesn't really matter. I know MP that 4,000 people hate in the constituency and he win by 5,000.
Yeah, but
I'm from Northeast Manchester and 1,000 people don't hate Valwit.
well, I don't know the numbers. But I could tell that you're from Manchester, you know, because the way when you talk about
that's not really the factor. It's a JLP stronghold, and the people of Northeast Manchester don't have enough reason to turn their back on the JLP and the JLP government, and Valwyn haven't shown them much. He was riding and he was getting a free ride, and he didn't show them enough to switch enough people or convince the undecided.
How many more seats we have left to go, Carl?
It was 12, so we touched Northeast Manchester, we touched Northwest Manchester, so we're down to 10 now.
10, Casey. Can you do the next 10 in 10 minutes?
Well, I'll try.
Yes. All right. Let's see what we can do.
Let me come up from the west. I think Western Westmoreland is back in the statistical dead heat again.
Western Westmoreland with James.
Garfield James versus Ian Hales.
Too close to call.
Let's see. Yes, let's see who will lose that one.
Huh.
One of them will lose it. I don't think any one of them will win it.
Yes.
Yes. I think Western Hanover is leaning PNP with Elder Miller.
Tari, I hope you're making notes.
Yes.
I'm taking my notes.
You see,
yes,
Western.
I think, Carl, I have 10 minutes now. After I go through, you can finish. Just keep your thought. Don't forget them. Write them down. I think Western Hanover is leaning PNP with Edda Miller over Tamika Davis. I think Eastern Hanover with Dave Brown is leaning JLP for Dave Brown over Andrea Perkis. I think Central Westmoreland is leaning JLP with George Wright over Dwayne Vaz. I think Eastern Westmoreland, very interested, is leaning PNP for Dayton Campbell over Daniel Lawrence, but just that was one I thought that I would be forecasting as a PNP CFC by now. Daniel Lawrence is actually doing well. I think it's leaning PNP over to St. James West Central. I think it's leaning JLP for Marlene Malawi Ford over Dr. Andre Arton. And of all the seats that I have in the marginal that are leaning, I think West Central St. James is leaning the heaviest.
Yes.
I think it's the closest to a safe seat that I haven't called for a safe seat. Marlene Malawi Ford. Over in South St. James, I think it's a statistical dead heat. Based on my forecast, I think it's 50-50 with Nikisha Burchell and Homer Davis. Let's see which party end up with the strength in that parish to carry home South St. James.
Yes.
Over in Natchalani. Natchalani is another interesting one. I think Topher Hamilton is as good an MP maybe as Rhoda Mae Crawford. But I think that the JLP base in central Manchester would have been stronger than the JLP base in Northern Trelawney. So since the PNP is revitalized, Northern Trelawney would have been having it tougher to really take back the lead after JLP went in a slump in 2023 and early 2024. I think Tova Hamilton and the JLP have recovered, and I think they are in the ascendancy, but I think Nachalani is where we call, I'd say 51-49 to the JLP, to Tova, because of her performance. But I think that one is a battleground. Over in St. Elizabeth now, that seat would have been Zulika just for the PNP versus the incumbent Delroy Slowly. I don't think Jess have done enough to overtake Slowly. I think it's leading JLP in Northeast St. Elizabeth. Which parish did we miss, Carl?
I think that's it. You touched St. Catherine already. You touched Anova.
Yes.
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Tari,
yes.
Rank up the numbers there. By the way, Ruler Brown wanted to have a question in. Ruler?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Our neighbor, blessings to you and to the analysts giving their forecast.
You've got that.
Yeah, let me say this. I'm new to this. I am new to this. And hearing the analysis and the predictions, I'm a bit confused. I hear they give descriptions like leaning and so forth. My key question is this real surveys have been taken, or it's just based on projections that you guys feel is going to happen? And my next follow-up question to that is, with all the work that the JLP has been doing in the schools, in the roads, businesses, shouldn't we see a leaning or some factor, percent or two, going towards some of the JLP candidates? I'm a bit confused. You know, as you know, neighbor, I lived in the States for 47 years, so this is my first time. So hearing this is a question that comes to me. Where are they getting their numbers, to use the word leaning, and 51-49? Can you help me?
Carl?
Yeah, so it's an educated forecast, right? And if you have been following the politics, probably you'd have understood a little bit better. You know what I mean? So leaning is just is a term used when it's not convincing on either side, but it just slightly tilting to one side, especially some marginal seat. If you look at Eastern St. Thomas, right, where you have Dr. Michelle Charles up against Rosemary Shaw, even though that seat has been voting for the People's National Party from 1993 up until 2020, when it flipped towards the Labour Party. But there's a strong amount of support there for the People's National Party. But based on the amount of infrastructure work that has gone on in the constituency, you cannot really write off the People's National Party, right? And the fact that the Michelle Charles has performed so well, you just can't really say outrightly she's going to win. So we say lean. That means there's a strong chance that she might lose, right? But based on the work that has gone on in the constituency, we could say that, you know, she should win. That's 100% certain. You have again 50-50 seat where you give both candidates an equal chance to win. So, for example, Central Kingston has been voting for the Labour Party, for the People's National Party up until 2020 from 1989, right? And so you can even go back to 1980 as well. So, based on the dynamics in that seat, it's not leaning to either candidate per se. So that's a 50-50 chance. Other seats, if you have been listening, the Labour Party has won those seats in the last election convincingly, and the election before that, the 2016 election, some of those seats, right, was won convincingly, and in the 2020 election, they also won those seats convincingly. So that is pretty much it. So leaning is just a term we use when we can't really give one party an overwhelming chance of winning that particular seat.
And I understand that description. Mike, so the key thing is not actual polls that you go out and canvass people in respective areas and get real hard numbers.
No, not polls, but some seats though. Some seats you don't have to poll those seats to know that
Yes.
which party is going to win those seats. You have some seats that you don't even have to poll during election. In the 2016 election, right? Both pollsters, Dan Anderson and Bill Johnson, they went in and polled the entire 63 constituencies, which was not really good. You have a pollster from Trinidad and Tobago just come in and poll 18 seats, 18 toss-up seats, and he could predict from those 18 seats who is going to win the election. So,
in other words, Carl, the elections this time around is going to be won in the 29 seats.
Yes. So you have 26
29
seats.
marginals.
Yeah, no. KC give us 26 seats. I have the 28, and based on what he said, I totally agree. I don't see.
Yeah, let's stay with his numbers. But how many seats are we working on tonight? The ones that are leaning either side. How many?
I don't remember what
I think it's 29.
You have to ask. 29. No. Yeah, some seats are leaning, and some up to 29 seats. Some seats are leaning, and some seats are 50-50. Right. So you have to ask.
But that's where the election really is going to be determined.
Exactly. Right.
In other words, the safe Labour Party seats. I don't even know if the PNP is putting much effort into Central St. Catherine.
Exactly.
They will not be.
And Central Clarendon too.
Central Clarendon. I don't know that the PNP is going to go down to West Kingston and campaign. They are not going to win that. The PNP is not going to spend a lot of resources over in where Delroy Chuck is or where Carl Samuda is.
Right. I even Babsy Grange on those seats. To answer your question, sir, we don't have to poll each constituency to know the outcome. Those you have certain constituency on both sides that we know come election night is a given. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and where Angela Brownberg is, the Labour Party is not spending $1 over this.
No.
Right.
Mark Bowling too.
So Ruler, it's like in the US, you know that the Republicans are never going to win New York or California. That now got basically.
Precisely. So true.
Yeah.
All right, fine. That's fair enough. And based on your past experience of predicting some of these polls, what percentage would you say your success rate? Let me put it that way. Your success rate. I know Casey seems like he's in this heavily. If I could ask Casey on the past, what kind of success rate he has had with this type of predictions?
All right, he's paused a little, but can I tell you this, Ruler, that elections in Jamaica are becoming more predictable these days, you know. More predictable.
All right. I appreciate the input.
As a matter of fact, this is why a lot of people are having problems with the polls. Especially the recent Don Anderson poll, which gives the PNP a 3-point lead. Mind you, the same poll gave the Prime Minister a 7-point lead in terms of popularity. But then it gives the PNP a 3-point lead.
Yes.
How do you go into an election with 49 seats and lose? How you do that?
After the volume of work that's being done by the JLP, I think it's going to happen. Based on, this is my first year, my number is 52-11 for the JLP. So who knows? All right. Well, neighbor, thank you for having me up, and the guys doing the great work. Thanks for explaining. All right.
Bless your heart. Take care.
One love. Bye-bye.
All right. You said we missed one seat.
Yes, neighbor, when I was doing the total tally, I realized we had 28 seats. And when I look back at the constituencies, I realized that we missed St. Catherine East Central, That's Orlando Terlong versus Raymond Price.
Yes, Tari. We didn't speak about that one. Yes, that one, yeah.
All right. Lean that one to the Labour Party.
Yeah, I'll give that one a 52-48 towards Orlando Terrell.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Casey.
Hello.
Yes, Casey.
Yes. That's leaning JLP heavily. If it was a poll, it would have maybe been 52-48, but it's not a poll. It's already a marginal seat. The probability of Terry Lang winning that seat maybe 55, maybe 65%. The probability of Terry Lang taking it home over Price, maybe 65%. Price may have a 35% chance.
Yeah.
Tari, it's your time to review.
All right, neighbor, I can't stay with you much longer after.
Take care, Carl. Take care of yourself.
But
Bye-bye.
Casey, before I go, what is the total now? Are you going to wait until tomorrow to give it that? The total in terms of seat counts on either side? Thursday. All right, good. I have to jump off now. Take care, guys. All the best.
Take care.
I will talk again. All right, good. Casey, respect man, Casey. Thank you. Casey, now you hear me?
Yeah, respect. Carl.
Yeah, man, you do a good job. Thank you very much. Catch you tomorrow. Okay? Good.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody. Thanks to everybody for listening.
By the way, Samwise, are you wanting to say something? Samwise? Samwise?
Alright, neighbor, are you hearing me?
Listeners, pay attention, no, please. If you don't want to come up in the box to say something, stop sending the requests. And if you send a request, recognize that you're up in the box. All right, we just can't deal with the come on, man. Come on, let's do better than this. This is a serious program we're running here, you know. We can't bother with the whole time wasting.
Alright, neighbor, you ready for the review?
I'm coming to you.
Okay.
See, Samwise is sending another request. Samwise, you got your chance, man. We had you up here and you didn't realize you were here. What's happening? Tari, are you ready for the review?
Yes, neighbor, I'm ready.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, listeners. So, as you know, we've been doing, well, Casey has been doing his forecast from last week into today. And just to give you a context, we called last week 26 safe seats for the Jamaica Labour Party, 8 safe seats for the People's National Party, meaning that there were 34 safe seats, and there are 29 seats that we have leaned respectfully to either party or we have assigned as too close to call. So I'm going to give you a general rundown of those 29 seats, and then I'm going to give you the further numbers as it relates to the number of seats each party would have. All right, so we begin with St. Thomas Eastern. We lean that to the Jamaica Labour Party for Michelle Charles. We go to St. Andrew East Rural, lean in JLP for Juliet Holness. We go to St. Andrew Eastern, lean in JLP for Favour Williams. Kingston Central, too close to call. Member of Parliament is Donovan Williams. In St. Catherine Northwestern, lean PNP for Damian Crawford. In St. Catherine Southeastern, too close to call, 50% split. And the MP is Robert Miller, Big Rob. In St. Mary Southeastern, lean in JLP for Dr. Norman Dunn. In St. Mary Central, it's lean in PNP for Omar Newell. In St. Mary Western, this one is too close to call. Member of Parliament is currently Robert Montague. In St. Anne Northwestern, lean in JLP for Crystal Lee. In St. Anne Southeastern, it's lean in PNP for Dr. Kenneth Russell. In Clarendon Northern, it is lean in JLP for Dwight Sibley's. And I'd also like to point out that it is at this point where the Labour Party would have reached the magic number for 32. Continuing onwards, in Clarendon Northwestern, too close to call. We look at Manchester Southern. It's leaning to the PNP for Peter Bunting. In Manchester Central, leaning JLP for Rhoda Moy Crawford. In St. Andrew South Eastern, leaning PNP for Julian Robinson. St. Andrew East Central, leaning PNP for Dennis Gordon. In Manchester Northwestern, surprising to some persons maybe, but it is leaning ever so slightly to the Jamaica Labour Party with Damian Young. Manchester Northeastern, leaning to the JLP with Audrey Marks. Westmoreland Western, too close to call. The candidate there is Garfield James. In Hanover Western, is leaning to the PNP with Heather Miller Bennett. In Hanover Eastern, leaning to the JLP with Dave Hume Brown. Westmoreland Central, leaning to the JLP with George Wright. Westmoreland Eastern, leaning to the PNP with Dr. Dayton Campbell. In St. James West Central, this may be the strongest leaning seat for the JLP, but it's leaning to Marlene Malahoo fourth. In St. James Southern, it's too close to call with the current Member of Parliament being Homer Davis. In Trelawney Northern, leaning JLP for Tova Hamilton. St. Elizabeth Northeastern, leaning JLP for Delroy Slowly. And St. Catherine East Central, leaning JLP for Orlando Terrelong. So after looking at the 29 seats, we currently have 15 leaning for the Jamaica Labour Party, 8 leaning for the People's National Party, and 6 labeled as too close to call. What this means right now in terms of the national count is that the JLP as of right now would be on 41 seats. The People's National Party would have 16 seats, and there are 6 seats that are still too close to call.
Give us the concluding number again, please.
So the concluding number, the Jamaica Labour Party stands right now at 41 seats. The People's National Party stands at 16 seats, whilst there are 6 seats that are still too close to call. I can run back over the too close to call seats if you want me to.
Yes, please, go ahead.
All right, so the seats that are too close to call, we have Kingston Central, which is held by current Member of Parliament Donovan Williams. We have St. Mary Western, held currently by Robert Montague. We have Clarendon Northwestern.
Bobby's seat is a dead heat?
Yes, sir. It is a dead heat.
Wow.
We have Clarendon Northwestern, currently held by Philip Enriquez, and the candidate up there is Warren Newby. We have Westmoreland Western, current MP.
Newby's seat is a dead heat?
Yes, it is a dead heat. We also have Westmoreland Western, which the current MP there is Morland Wilson, and the JLP's candidate is Garfield James. Let me see if I'm missing anything. We go to St. James Southern, where the current, it's also too close to call, the current MP is Homer Davis. And St. Catherine Southeastern, also too close to call, where the current MP is Robert Big Rob Miller.
Fantastic. All right. Well, these are KC's number. This is what KC has laid on the. What about Eastern St. Thomas?
Eastern St. Thomas, that was the first seat I called. That's leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party with Michelle Charles.
Southwest St. Elizabeth?
Southwest St. Elizabeth, that's, we did that last week. Safe for the JLP.
All right. Well, that's what we have there. Repeat it for us again, Tari, please.
As in the numbers or all the seats?
Just go back over again.
Oh, go back over everything? Okay,
yes.
All right.
Start back from the top.
All right, so listeners, for your benefit again, last week we would have characterized the the safe seats for the Jamaica Labour Party and the safe seats for the People's National Party.
Tell them that is KC's
Oh, you want
projection.
KC's projection, by the way, guys. Not mine, it is KC's projection. Right? And KC would have characterized 26 seats as safe for the Jamaica Labour Party, and there were 8 seats that were safe for the People's National Party. You want me to go over the safe seats, neighbor?
Yes.
Just quickly run them off.
Go.
All right. So for the safe seats now, when we were listing them, we are KC was saying that he's 90% sure that these won't flip, regardless of if there's a massive swing for the Labour Party or the People's National Party. So the safe Jamaica Labour Party seats are Clarendon Central with Delroy Williams, Clarendon North Central with Robert Nestor Morgan, Clarendon South Eastern with Pernell Charles Jr., St. Catherine South West with Everall Warmington, St. Catherine West Central with Dr. Christopher Tufton, St. Catherine South Central with Andrew Wheatley, St. Catherine Central, Olivia Babsy Grange, St. Catherine North East, Carencia Morrison, St. Anne North East, Matthew Samuda, St. Anne South West, Xavier Main, Portland Eastern and Western, Vaslan and Marie and Daryl Vaz, St. Thomas Western, James Robertson, Kingston Western with Desmond McKenzie, St. Andrew North Western with Dwayne Smith, St. Andrew North Central with Delano Seavright, St. Andrew North Eastern with Delroy Chuck, St. Andrew West Central with Dr. Andrew Holness, St. Andrew West Rural with Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, St. Elizabeth South Western with Floyd Green, St. Elizabeth Southeastern with Franklin Whittle, St. Elizabeth Northwestern with Andrew Morris, that would have been J.C. Hutchinson's former constituency, Trelawney Southern with Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, St. James Central with Leroy Clark, St. James Northwestern with Dr. Horace Chang, and St. James East Central with Edmund Bartlett. So those are the 26 safe JLP seats. Now for the 8 safe PNP seats.
Hold on, Tari. So that so listeners, there are 26 Tari. 26
yes,
seats.
26.
Labour Party starting the election with 26 seats in the back. Oh my goodness, what an election. The Labour Party is starting the election with 26 seats in the bag. 2025, what a year. What a year. I'm coming to you, Tari. I'm coming to you. My people.
Guys, remember to tap the screen and like the live.
There. 26 seats the Labour Party starts the election. This man, Andrew Holness. Oh. My goodness, what a leader the JLP has found. I tell you. This is going to be a heck of an election, I tell you. This man, Andrew Holness, boy, I tell you. I don't know that a party in history has been able to start an election campaign with 26 seats. And the forecaster is saying that the Labour Party is starting the election with 26 safe seats, that they can't lose it. Oh, this is big news for the Labour rights. Big news for the Labour Party. I'm just here watching my screen and recognizing the information coming up before me. That there's a 90% chance. You know, Marcia Griffiths, a little Andrew Michael Holness, boy, I tell you something. Tari, do you want to continue now? Go ahead with the PNP numbers. Go ahead.
All right, neighbor, I'll continue. So, according to KC's forecast as well, according to KC's forecast as well, there would have been 8 seats that were considered safe for the People's National Party. And these 8 seats are... You guys are hearing me, by the way?
I am.
Okay, cool. All right. So we have Kingston Eastern and Port Royal. That's Philip Paulwell's seat. St. Andrew South. That's opposition leader Mark Golding. St. Andrew Western, Anthony Hilton. St. Andrew South Western. That's Angela Brown-Burke's seat. Formerly Portia Simsimiller's seat. We have St. Catherine Eastern, represented by Denise Daly. St. Catherine North Central, with Natalie Nita Garvey. St. Catherine Southern with Fitz Jackson, and Clarendon Southwestern with Lothan Cousins.
Yes.
So those are the 8 seats that are safe for the People's National Party. So overall,
in other words, the PNP starts the election with 8 seats. Safe.
8 seats, yes.
Yes.
So if you're doing your own little map, everyone, you can color code these seats already, because the JLP should start the election with 26 and the PNP starts with their 8. So in total, the election has 34 safe seats, meaning that there are 29 seats that are currently within the battleground, and we would have leaned those seats today either for the Jamaica Labour Party or the People's National Party, or it was also characterized as too close to call. So I'm gonna go over the lean seats. So I'm gonna call the lean ones for the JLP, then the lean ones for the PNP, and then the too close to call to give you a wider perspective. Right? So for the Jamaica Labour Party, there are 15 seats that are leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party. Oh, I must go slow up, guys. I was told that you guys are writing the... Alright, so I'll try to be slow with the lean seats as best as possible. So I'm going to start with the Jamaica Labour Party. Yes? So for the Jamaica Labour Party, we have St. Thomas Eastern leaning for the JLP with Michelle Charles.
Not safe. Not safe.
Not safe. It's leaning to the JLP. We then move further, I guess you could say further west, to the corporate area, where we have St. Andrew East Rural leaning to the JLP with Juliet Holness. We also have St. Andrew Eastern leaning to the JLP with Favor Williams. Going into Kingston, oh, sorry, my apologies, not Kingston. We're moving further westward again, neighbor.
Yes.
So we continue to Clarendon. So in Clarendon, we have Clarendon Northern leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party with MP Dwight Sibley's. And then
Sibley's has work to do.
Yes, he has work to do, neighbor. We also, so now we move to Manchester, where Central...
What about Clarendon Northwestern?
No, I'm calling them in terms of the party, you know. Or you want me to just call them out?
No. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
So I'm calling them in terms of the party. So I'm doing for the Jamaica Labour Party now.
Yes.
All right. So in Manchester, we have Central Manchester, which is leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party with Rhoda Moy Crawford.
Rhoda is winning Central.
Yes, she's winning in Central.
Rhoda Moy Crawford is winning Central Manchester.
Yes, she's winning Central Manchester.
Hold on, hold on. What an election. What an election. Rhoda Moy is winning Manchester. Central. Good evening, Rhoda. Can you hear me calling out your name, Rhoda?
I don't know what to say.
Rhoda, you drink soda? Rhoda Moy Crawford, or what an MP?
Oh.
What an MP? My understanding is that when Rhoda turns up in the communities, the young men, Dory man, Central Manchester, that crazy. Go ahead, Tari, my son.
All right, neighbor. So, still in Manchester, we have, maybe surprising to some people, but in Manchester Northwestern, it is slightly leading to the Jamaica Labour Party with their candidate of Damian Young.
Damian Young.
Yes.
Ahead in Northwest.
Yes, he is ahead in Northwest. Slightly ahead.
My goodness gracious me. Go ahead.
All right. Then we go to Manchester Northeastern, also leaning for the Jamaica Labour Party. As you know, we would have been unsure about the seat for some time because the candidate was not there. But as you know, the candidate now is Audrey Marks, and it is leaning towards the Jamaica Labour Party, listeners.
The Labour Party is winning Manchester 3-1. Go ahead, Tari.
All right, we then move to St. Elizabeth, where in St. Bess, the breadbasket parish, St. Elizabeth Northeastern is leaning towards the Jamaica Labour Party with current MP Delroy slowly but surely. Yes. Slowly but surely. All right, moving over to Westmoreland, where neighbor we can say that Westmoreland Central is leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party with current Member of Parliament George Wright. We move now to Hanover, where in Hanover Eastern is leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party with current Member of Parliament Dave Hume Brown. We then now move to St. James, where in St. James West Central leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party. It's probably the strongest leaning seat for the JLP, where the Member of Parliament is Marlene Malahou IV. Former Attorney General, Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. We then move to Trelawney Northern, leaning to the JLP ever so slightly with Tova Hamilton. Still somewhat of a battleground, but it's leaning to the Labour Party. After Trelawney, we then go to St. Anne, where St. Anne Northwestern is leaning for the Jamaica Labour Party with Crystal Lee. And neighbor, moving to St. Mary now. St. Mary Southeastern is leaning for the Jamaica Labour Party with Dr. Norman Dunn. So those seats that I would have just spoken about are the leaning seats, or the lean seats, the seats that we have leaned for the Jamaica Labour Party. So there are 15 seats that we have leaned for the Jamaica Labour Party. So for the People's National Party.
Hold on. How many seats are the Labour Party winning?
What, in total?
Yes, sir.
So in total, the Labour Party, with the 26 safe seats and the 15 lean seats, that would be 41 seats for the Jamaica Labour Party.
The Labour Party is now winning 41.
Yes, neighbor.
How many are safe?
Neighbor, 26 safe for the Jamaica Labour Party.
And how many are in the toss-up column?
And in the toss-up right now, we have 15. In the toss-up, which we have leaned to the JLP.
So the party starts the election with 26 safe seats, and it is likely to pick up another 15.
Yes.
But then there are 5 that are too close to call.
No, there's 6 that are too close to call. I still
So
have
it
the
could pick up those 6 too.
Yes, we could pick up those 6.
What is this?
Which therefore means that it could technically be an upwards of 47.
What is this I'm hearing?
Sorry.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Okay. All right. Go over the seats that are now leaning to the People's National Party. Go over those seats for me now.
All right, so although the seats leaning to the People's National Party neighbor.
Yes.
So we start from, let's see here, we start from St. Andrew, where in St. Andrew Southeastern is leaning to the People's National Party with current Member of Parliament Julian Robinson.
Yes.
And St. Andrew East Central is leaning to the People's National Party with candidate Dennis Gordon.
Yes,
Moving
that's the former
Catherine.
Peter Phillips seat.
Former Peter Phillips seat, yes, correct. We move on to St. Catherine, where St. Catherine Northwestern is leaning to the People's National Party with their candidate Damian Crawford. The current MP for that seat would have been Hugh Graham.
Yes.
As you know, Hugh Graham has been subject to a lot of criticism over the past parliamentary tenure for being absent from Parliament.
Yes.
Many times. But we're leaning his seat to the PNP with candidate Damian Crawford. We then move to Manchester, where we can lean Manchester Southern to the People's National Party with their candidate Peter Bunting. Yes, sir, Peter Bunting will be returning to
he's coming out of the Senate.
Coming out of the Senate, going back to the House of Representatives.
Yes. I wonder if he's going to challenge for leadership.
We shall see, neighbor.
We shall see.
We then go to Westmoreland Eastern, where we are leaning it for the People's National Party in the form of Dayton Campbell. But Daniel Lawrence is doing his work down there.
Campbell is likely to return to the lower house.
Yes, neighbor.
Slightly, eh?
Yes, slightly. We also, in Hanover Western has been leaned to the People's National Party with Madam Heather Miller Bennett.
That's the lady who said that they switch on what? What she said?
Switch and end up in a ditch, yes. That is Heather Miller Bennett for you. Switch and end up in a ditch. That is Heather Miller Bennett for you.
Yes.
So we have lead Hanover Western to the People's National Party.
Yes, what about Southern St. James?
Anne. Oh, that is in the too close to call column neighbor.
Okay.
Yes.
St. Anne?
We now move to St. Anne. St. Anne Southeast is being leaned for the People's National Party in the form of Dr. Kenneth Russell. We go to St. Mary, where St. Mary Central has also been leaned for the People's National Party in the form of Omar Newell. Right? So, though that would be the 8 seats that are leaned to the People's National Party as we speak. So, the PNP starts the election off with 8 safe seats. They gain another 8 seats from the toss-up that we have leaned PNP, meaning that they have 16 seats currently, but because there are 6 too close to call seats, it could be an upwards of 22, right? But
the PNP could end the election with 22 seats.
Yes, they could.
All right.
Yes.
Give me those now. Those that are too close to call.
Too close to call. So neighbor, I'll give you too close to call. So for the too close to call, we start with Kingston Central is too close to call. The JLP is Donovan Williams is going up against the PNP Steve McGregor. We then go to St. Mary Western, where it's also too close to call, where Robert Bobby Montague of the JLP will be going against Omar Orville Woodbine for the People's National Party.
This must be the biggest political news on the island. that
Yes.
St. Mary Western is too close to
Close to
call.
call. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
As we said, neighbor, as Casey would have said, the too close to call seats, it's really gonna go down to the organization and the strength of the party on the day. So Bobby has some work to do where that is concerned. We go to Clarendon Northwestern, where it's also too close to call. It's being represented by Warren Newby for the Jamaica Labour Party. He'll go up against Richard Azan for the People's National Party. We go next to Westmoreland Western, where the candidate there for the Jamaica Labour Party is Garfield James. This is also too close to call. Garfield James was a former councillor for the People's National Party. He's now representing the Jamaica Labour Party. He'll be going up against, I believe it's Ian Hales for the People's National Party. We also look at, I keep on skipping this one, St. Catherine Southeast. This is also too close to call. Current Member of Parliament Robert Big Rob Miller for the JLP will be going up against Dr. Alfred Dawes for the People's National Party. And also in St. James Southern, this is also too close to call. The JLP's Homer Davis will be going up against the PNP's Chief Communicator Nikisha Burchell. Right?
Is she the chief communicator, sir?
Well, I know that she's on one of the communication specialists for the PNP.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
My goodness. So then the PNP then is winning how many seats?
So the PNP would win, according to KC's forecast, 16, but with the too close to call seats, they have an upwards of 22.
22 minus 22 from the 14 they have. How much is that?
Minus 22 from the 14, that would be 8.
Plus they're losing 1. So that's a pickup of 9.
Oh Lord. Minus 14 from the 22, that's 8. Plus they're losing 1. So that would be 7 now.
Go on, which one will lose?
Who is that?
It is I.
Northwestern neighbor. Yeah. I see what you said.
We have Senator Crawford online, Tari. Let's hear what he has to say after this. We have Senator Crawford online. It's a fascinating night. I understand that Floyd Green is also listening. Good evening, Floyd. No, Minister Green, how you doing? Mr. Crawford?
Well, go on.
How you doing, sir?
Boy, I'm there listening. I try to hear which one we are going to lose, but I hear it yet. I wonder if I'm on.
Well, sir, the PNP is doing better. The PNP is doing better tonight than in previous times. You are now up to 21 seats. Then and remember, you only have 14. That means that you're making progress.
All right.
Encapsulate for us what it is that the People's National Party is asking Jamaicans to vote for. Whatever you make of the forecast, Mr. Crawford, we are not forecasting a win at this time for the People's National Party. As a matter of fact, we are actually forecasting how many seats, Tari? What's the best?
All right, so the best that the PNP can receive would be 22 seats. And, would I say worse here? But the worst in this case, 16.
Yeah. Mr. Crawford, the PNP is not winning the elections based on politics plus forecast. And it is what it is. What it is that you are, could you just, in a few sentences, pitch the PNP's message to the listeners? What it is that you are offering Jamaica to vote for? Mr. Crawford, you go to the market and people are selling. What is on your stall?
I think we have better ideas and a greater commitment to the movement and development of the average Jamaican. That is what is on our stall.
Yes, but then now you're going to have to break that down into some language that different demographics or demographies of people are able to understand. Let's start with the people at the bottom. What is the message to them?
As I said, a greater commitment, a greater disposition towards their plight, towards the things that they're facing, their suffering, as people would say, and better ideas towards fixing that. I think that's what we're all trying to say.
Yeah, isn't that Mr. Crawford, part of the problem that I see that the PNP is having? It is this idea that Jamaica has not really made progress. But the average man, Mr. Crawford, in Jamaica today, in my view, well, let me leave myself out of it, based on data coming out of the institutions of government, those numbers are suggesting that the country would have made progress. Isn't part of the problem that the PNP has not recognized the progress that the nation has made, and at the same time presenting an alternative as to what you can do to make it better? For example, Mr. Crawford, when you're Minister of National, your spokesman on national security, refuse to give credit to the government for the reduction in crime. That's a missed opportunity.
No, it's not a missed opportunity. In your opinion, that's a missed opportunity. No. As I've said before, and many a poll have indicated in the last year and a half, continuously the PNP is ahead. So I don't think we're making a mistake at all. Indeed, the inability of the government to call an election would suggest to me that their numbers aren't showing this level of confidence that you're seeking to purport. So,
well, it's not me seeking to purport it. I am not the forecaster. I'm just the broadcaster.
Or the forecaster. I mean, if he shares this with the Prime Minister would be smart to call election tomorrow. But that is not happening, as we can see. So I believe that the numbers is in our
So
favor.
which poll are you leading in, Mr. Crawford? Which poll?
The most recent poll would have been the Don Anderson poll, which once again.
But your general secretary says that it's an independent poll. Is the Don Anderson poll an independent poll?
I don't understand how that question negates the argument. The Don Anderson poll.
I'm just wanting to find out if the Don Anderson
poll. You have to allow me to answer.
Okay, no problem.
Right. So independent is independent of the two political parties. It wasn't commissioned by any of the two commissioned political parties. So that is what independent means in this case of a political poll. So their results indicated that the PNP was ahead once again, and have been continuously ahead in all their polls for the last 18 months.
Yes. What weight do you put on the Blue Dot poll?
I put very little weight on the Blue Dot poll, actually. On the simple basis that I personally believe that Nationwide is a biased commentary, but also because of this, the methodologies that they use, to me, don't seem to be reliable. For example, I don't believe a parish analysis is effective, because seats can be decided in strong manner or weak manner. So when a person says we're leading in this parish, let's use St. Mary, for example, the PNP can be ahead by very far in one seat and be battling in the other two, but in combination gives the impression that the PNP is very far ahead in the parish. I don't understand that decision to do a parish analysis. So some of the questions that they ask I find to be questionable, but I believe that over time, Don Anderson has proven himself to be.
You're an academic, Mr. Crawford. You have lectured at the University of the West Indies. What weight do you put on polling generally?
Put a lot of weight because it's not the statistics, but the credibility of it is a comparison of the historical outcomes. So if we look at the most recent test of the sample versus the population, so the sample is the poll and the population would have been the election. If we look at the most recent test, the blue dot was very far off. The blue dot suggested that they were the JLP was 6 points ahead, I believe, at the time. It ended up that they were 3 points behind. While Don Anderson, I believe, suggested that the PMP was 1 point ahead. And it ended up that we were 3 points ahead. So
No, Don Anderson had the Labour Party 1 point ahead. You can check that.
Right. Well, you could say how I'd make a mistake there.
No, it's fine.
Right. So the Don Anderson poll was way closer to the reality, especially when you add plus or minus as a margin of error. I think that was 3 or 4%.
Yeah. Well, let's assume therefore, Mr. Crawford, that Don Anderson is correct. Let us assume that Anderson is correct. That you are starting the election with a 3-point lead nationally, but then the same poll puts your leader 7 point. Well, puts the Jamaica Labour Party's leader at 7 points ahead of your leader, Mark Golding. This after you have been campaigning for 4 years. 4 years,
Well,
Mr. Crawford. Hold on. You have been on the road consistently for 4 years. Your leader, Mark Golding, and Dayton Campbell have sought to paint the Prime Minister as not a credible man. You have cited his statutory declarations and all type of things. The PNP have thrown dirt on him, but you're only 3 points ahead. How do you explain that?
Well, first of all, none of the things that you referred to were initiated by the PMP. We have no authority over the declarations of the Prime Minister being signed. That's through the Integrity Commission. And if that is not done, that's reasonable political conversation and political fodder, which the party would rightly use going forward. Now, as it relates to the leaders' numbers, I don't question polls. However, we're not having a presidential election, so I don't need to be concerned about it.
Yeah, but yes, Mr. Crawford, but you are smarter than that. You know how Jamaicans. You hear what Mr. Campbell. Yes, okay, no problem, man. Speak up a little bit.
Yes. So I'm saying that when I analyze these polls, because we're not having a presidential election, and because the party's preference was analyzed in the same poll that the Prime Minister was supposedly ahead of the leader of the opposition, but in that same poll, in spite of that result, the people gave the PMP the preference. And so therefore, because it is an election of party to party, the most important analysis is the outcome of the PMP.
Agree with you, but you're not equating the local government election along the same with the general election coming up, because neither Mark Golding nor Andrew Holness was on that ballot.
No. I'm reusing the poll, the most recent poll that had the two findings. So at the same time that the person was asked, in this case, who's your favored leader, they said Holness would have won that. But in the same poll, at the same time, the person said the PMP is their favored party. The outcome of the next election is based on who's their favored party, because it asked for their intent to vote. And their intent to vote was for the People's National Party as a dominant feature over the Jamaica Labour Party.
I'm being purely hypothetical. I must tell you, I'm not a great believer in polls, especially polls in Jamaica. I think they are too infrequently done to be credible. But I'm suggesting to you, I'm asking you that, assuming Anderson to be correct, he is suggesting that the Labour Party's leader, Holness, is 7 points ahead of your leader, Golding, and you are only 3 points ahead. Anderson said,
but I don't understand the statement. What that means? So you believe that we're going to
let
have
me finish. Anderson said that it is not a statistical dead heat. I'm asking you, is it a statistical dead heat?
I don't believe so. I believe that if you should look at the trend the plus and minus should be on the side of the People's National Party. So
What is the margin of error?
the margin of error is 3%. However, if you look at the polls over the last year, you'd have recognized that the JLP would have only lost 1 and the PNP would have then lost 7. It is reasonable to assume that within that margin of error,
there's a young man. Sorry, Mr. Crawford. I'm sorry but there's a young man on the program. He's 17 years old from
Yes.
Arden, and I want to make sure that
is that the young man that was talking about the polls?
he was just reading the numbers.
Oh well, he's quite impressive, I must admit. Yes.
Oh yes, he is. He's an Arden student. He's going into upper six, studying law. Mr. Crawford.
I look forward to his offering to the country. I was listening. It's very impressive.
Yes, we look forward to yours too, sir. The margin of error in the poll is how much, Mr. Crawford?
In this case, my memory is 3%.
Yes, and how much is the PNP ahead by?
3.7%.
So then it is 0.7% that is the difference.
Not really. That's not how the maths really go. But yeah,
You're a mathematician. Help us.
Yes,
man.
because you'd have to assume a direction. So if you think that the margin of error was in the negative, meaning that it is a -3 on the JLP side, then the lead could be 6.7. If you believe it is a +3 on the JLP side, then the lead would have been -7. So yes, the best case scenario would have been -7 or 2.3. Yeah.
Okay.
So
well,
depends on the direction of the margin that you assume. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Is the PNP comfortable that it can win the election?
Not
3%?
can win. Yes, I think so. Well,
yes?
What we have seen, and I don't want to take tales out of school, but I think that we are confident because the JLP has shown their best ball. They have made their greatest attempt in this last poll period. While many could have argued that they weren't campaigning before, that can be argued now. And they have opened and reopened everything that they can think of. They have broken and rebroken ground. And they have made their best case. And in spite of their best case, with Andrew Holness being on the road, they lost a point. So that has given us great joy and anticipation for the election.
But there are some, Mr. Crawford, who are suggesting that the PNP have really run out of steam, that they went out too early and they're at the point now where they can't find that gear to take them over the hump. How do you respond to that the PNP over the last couple of weeks, they have been quite flat? What's causing that?
Well, first of all, there's competition in the market space. The JLP would have had greater budgets and the availability of the funds of government for their communication. What the JLP and the supporters of the JLP should always remember is that once the election is called, that advantage is removed. And so the ability to have all these people following the prime minister, and we don't have that as opposition. So they're in the market. Secondly, people are in the information stage, are really analyzing everything, trying to look out. But in spite of the government having all the billions available to them and announcing all the things that they're able to announce of government, they're still behind. I think the JLP should be very concerned and are very concerned about that. And so, yeah, we're confident.
Yeah, you are part of the manifesto committee of the opposition People's National Party. Mr. Crawford, are you helping to craft the PNP's 2025 manifesto?
I've had input, yeah, I've had input.
Yeah, how far are you with that document?
No, man, our manifesto continues to improve. We have had many of these policies, some of them from 2020. So it's not as if we just jump in a room one night and create a manifesto overnight. We continue. We have seen changes in global realities that we have to then see how that impacts previous plans. We have seen, for example, the US saying they're going to send 4,000 1,000 people back to Jamaica. That is a reason to review your manifesto. How do we treat with this? What are the types of situations they are coming back to? We have seen war evolve in the Middle East. How would that affect oil prices? What does that mean for solar energy? So it's a thing that you continuously review. And in that continuous review, you get the best of ideas coming forward.
Look forward to looking at it. Damian, what are the areas of government now that the PNP would continue? What are the things that if you get into government, you would continue these policies? And what are the things that you would change? Is there anything that you would commend the government for?
Of course. Well, the economy will be continued because the laws are in place. A lot of people don't realize that the laws were set in 2014 for these ratios to be achieved. For example, your debt to GDP ratio, your wage bill to GDP ratio. So therefore, whomever is in government, having these laws in place would have to continue.
I could challenge that, don't you know, Mr. Crawford?
Yes, neighbor, we could challenge that, of course. Good night to Mr. Crawford.
Wait.
Can you indicate the challenge to that?
Well, the fact of the matter, sir, is that governments, although they are bound by laws, it is men that operates them. You know, sir, I just received a judgment, and I'm going to say a little bit more of it.
Yes.
In a case against the government, an agency of the government that I am involved in, and I must tell you the truth. It is amazing that an agency of government could have acted in such a way.
Right.
It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay, and so there is a human element involved in it, Mr. Crawford. There was a time when nobody knew that $11 billion could have been taken out of the NHT. The PNP did it. And the PNP did it through amending the law. So when you speak of law as if law is a constraint upon government, it is, and it ought to be, which is the very reason why you took the government to court over the states of public emergencies. Right? And you won. So it's not only that the law exists.
But but you would have also had first of all, the 2014 law was passed under the PNP government, but you'd have also had a period of time, I think it was 2 years, that the PNP met all those targets.
Damien, stop saying that, bro. Stop saying that. The PNP did not the law of fiscal responsibility. Stop saying that.
All right. Can you please Google when that law was passed? So I'll go back to saying in 2014.
Just a minute, Mr. Crawford. Just a minute, sir. You're being disingenuous, sir, and misleading. In terms of neighbor, in terms of tactic, in terms of like policies, strategies, and programs and policies, the JLP's policies, strategies, and programs, neighbor, are different.
May I just wrap up with him? Just wrap up with him, and then you can come in. What I'm asking, Mr. Crawford, is
neighbor,
in terms of continuity.
Right,
yes.
And I've said to you that the laws are in place as guardrails for the economy. Nobody can deny that those laws exist. Nobody can.
But neighbor, that's the thing I want to adjust, man. You can't make him and then lose between the talk, man. Let me adjust that, man. Neighbor, that's false, neighbor. The PNP's policies, strategies, and programs are not the same as the JLP's. Even in a scenario where JLP would have continued from the fiscal rules that existed, that initiated first under the Bruce Golden-led administration through the hands of Mr. Shaw, etc. Also, neighbor, it is the people that are a country's greatest asset. And when your policies, strategies, and programs are not having the people centered in terms of being beneficiaries of these strategies, policies, and programs without being burdened through or because of excessive tax packages, neighbor, the JLP would have introduced a no new tax policy. The PNP had pure tax as the way out to achieve whatever outcome they would have had in mind to achieve. And that's different from the JLP's policy, sir, because when the PNP had it in mind to apply tax. The JLP's policy, no new taxes. That provided the fiscal space for entrepreneurs, small businesses, large and existing businesses already to
that's
expand
policy.
their
That's
policy.
policy. That's policy.
Those are
I'm
policies
saying,
that are
hold on.
different from the PMP's policies, neighbor.
The
Remember,
fiscal policy
remember, if it was the PMP, the BPO sector would have crumbled under the PMP's stewardship because of Peter Phillips' excessive tax package that he would have brought onto the BPO sector. For example, Davon Crum, the president of the St. James BPO sector, warned Mr. Phillips of those type of tax that he would have brought forward at that specific tax. And if the PMP never lost government, a sector like that is vital today would have crumbled under the PMP like many others that would have crumbled under the PMP, sir. Next thing, neighbor in London, the country needed to have a better space in terms of social behavior. We needed to have a crime reducing country, or a country where criminal activities are being treated with laws and also legislations to fight it, and also make it deterrent to people who think it is attractive or profitable to get in the actions of crime. We see the negative crime has on this country. It stifles growth, it stifles development. And the Labour Party, neighbor.
No, he must respond.
Gusto finish, neighbor, because the fiscal responsibility framework was also passed in 2010. Even
February 27,
privatized
2010.
the central bank, the government, and no political party cannot increase interest rate like the PMP did in the 90s.
All right.
Because the Bank of Jamaica now is an independent bank. So we cannot trust PMP. Damien is up here trying to mislead 453 persons.
Ask me a question.
That is not good. We have to dismantle PMP lies and propaganda.
Neighbor, the reduction in crime rate has a lot. Neighbor, the reduction in crime rate, for example, the reduction in the criminal activities across the country has an impact on the country doing well in terms of economic development, sir.
But we are
And the PMP's security minister cried on the job, sir.
Gustav, this program is not about us, sir. It's about the listeners.
Guys.
So if we do not let them listen, then we don't make no sense.
And it should be about speaking the truth and not crippling the mind of Black Jamaican men and women. Because the PMP are constantly telling lies, they're twisting the truth, and that is not nice. That is not nice.
Philippines, we understand, but when we're having a debate, we allow the spokesperson to respond. And I'm also trying. And I am also trying to benefit. I am also trying to benefit from
because
what
I'm not even
spokesperson is saying.
Why we are resorting to this.
I'm trying to benefit from what the spokesperson is saying, and the listeners are listening. We have to be mindful. Come on, guys.
All right. So I understand the passion of politics, and that is fine. There are certain things that a quick Google search or a quick chat GPT search can indicate. You ask me a question. Is there anything that I believe deserves continuity? That must be from a policy standpoint. Can be from an objective standpoint. 90% of the objectives of the country we agree on. So it is from a policy, a how more than a what. I've indicated truthfully that there is and have proven to be a commitment to the current fiscal rules from the People's National Party, and has been proven since the JLP has been in power. There's a commitment from the Jamaica Labour Party.
Sorry, Mr. Crawford, can you clear up for us? When were the fiscal rules? When did they come on stream? Tell us.
2014.
2014? Yes. Under which government?
So, under the PMP government, 2011 to 2016.
But then the guys from the Labour Party here are suggesting that.
So what people should remember was that the fiscal rules was what would I say, a demand from the IMF. Good. When we had to go back to the IMF in 2008, I believe, and the IMF wasn't pleased with our performance, they proposed those rules in 2010. those rules had to be made into law. That agreement between the two parties to say, yo, listen, this is where we are, this is where we have to go. To get this money, we have to follow those rules, would have then had to be made into law and passed into law. That was done in 2014.
Were you in the Senate at the time? Were you in the Senate?
I was in the Parliament at the time. I was member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew. I was a voter in the Parliament as it relates to that fiscal rules. That's a quick Google search. Now, all I'm saying is that those rules about the ratios of debt to GDP, about the ratios of salaries to GDP, those ratios haven't been established, along with a general national oversight body, EPOC, which again was implemented by the PNP, along with the need to come to Parliament for changes, have indicated, and in my opinion, that is something the PNP would have had to continue. Even the ratios of what is the deadline of achieving a certain debt to GDP are set in those rules, set in those laws. I accept that once human beings are interacting with anything at all, variations will happen. But I then posit to you that since the PNP was essential in passing the bill, and since the PNP had proven in its 2 years after passing the bill that they would have stuck to those targets, never missed one.
Yeah, sorry.
I would posit
It's what happened to these people online, man. I mean, what's wrong with them? Listen, I would rather, me personally, would rather end this show, go to my bed, and don't come back here tomorrow. I mean,
I quite enjoyed it.
I am not a senator. I am not a member of parliament. If what the man is saying is not true, go and Google it.
Yes,
pick up your computer and look at it. I don't know. The man said he was in parliament when the fiscal rules were passed.
Yes.
Is that true? Go and check it out for yourself and come here with the facts. Mr. Crawford, you are a senator in Jamaica, sir. When were the fiscal rules passed? That's all we're asking you.
2014.
There you go. Why you think that the senator is misleading us? He must know, man.
Or they can
but neighbor, Senator Crawford is misleading us. And also, neighbor, again, current affairs of Jamaicans, again, if they were never able to improve the lives of several Jamaicans in constituencies that remains controlled by the PNP, sir. Before you qualify the PNP nationally, qualify these constituencies, use any of them to sell the PNP before you try to sell the PNP now, sir.
Let
him respond first. Then you can take some question one time.
And if I am incapable to respond, it don't make no sense to remain. All right. No, the fact of the matter is that an election is a comparison's relativity, and in my opinion, every single PNP constituency that has been held by the PNP for a very long time is in a better situation on average.
Can I ask you for a moment, Mr. Crawford?
1 second, let me just
there are
answer.
other people who want to hold on, Mr.
Yes,
Crawford.
there
are other people who want to ask Mr. Crawford questions. So Delroy, we are going to give each person one question, and that's it. Yes. So when you have gotten your question, you come down and allow somebody else to come up. Mr. Crawford will stay with us.
Yes, as I said, every single long-standing PNP constituency is in a relatively better condition and situation than long-standing JLP constituencies. So if the people were to compare on the most ridiculous basis of what is a constituency to constituency outcome, the PNP would be 100% most likely to win the election. And I can speak to as easy as West Kingston. I can go over to where my friend Babs Grange is. I can go over to where Mike Henry, Goodman. None of them can compare to the developments that we have seen in Westmoreland in general. None of them can compare with the developments that we have seen in my own seat, Northwest St. Catherine. So if we should get the statistics on poverty, if we should get the statistics on crime, on average, the JP long-held constituencies would fail in comparison to the PNP long-held constituencies. However, that would be a foolish basis of decision-making moving forward. So I wouldn't suggest people should use that as their basis of decision-making.
100 Live, your time.
Yes, yeah, I don't really, I want to go back to the fiscal responsibility, and I can read an article that was written by the Jamaica Information Service in 2010, February 7, 2010. So it states that the House of Representation passed an amendment to the Fiscal Administration and Audit Act and the Public Body Management and Accountabilities Act on Tuesday as a part of the government fiscal responsibility framework. Minister of Finance and Public Service, Honorable Audley Shaw, who piloted both bills, stated that the fiscal responsibility framework will operate as a centerpiece of the framework being undertaken to improve the management of the public finances. And he said, this is Audley Shaw's work, the policy of the proposal framework is to address areas of weakness in the existing financial policies and fiscal administration system in Jamaica. He said the ministry stated that an unacceptable high level of public debt is hampering the country efforts to achieve levels of growth and significant meet an exceptional of the people's struggles, right? It goes on and on, but you blatantly lie and mislead. There's a lot to read and it takes funny, but I'm not take up the time because the article is very long. So let me talk, please. So that was he piloted both bills. There was amendments. An amendment means slight changes, right? So the PMP, I don't know if you guys were choosing to make changes to hamper the bill. So, but under the strict law that was placed by Audley Shaw, right, for both bills, right, to get the country to where it is at today in 2010, which you blatantly mislead the people and is adamant about it. It was never started by the People's National Party, and the People's National Party is the reason why we have to reach to the position where we have to get this bill amendment, where we have to go to BOJ, the Bank of Jamaica, and to let them become independent so that we cannot be printing money and we have to set the inflation rate at a standing. So you lied there, sir, and the facts are there to
100 Live. I wouldn't say he lied. I wouldn't say he lied. Mr. Crawford,
are you mislead? You try to mislead the people? Are you trying
he
partisan?
He did say that
the People's National Party.
But he did say that the bill was introduced by Golden in 2010.
He said he gave both credit to the People's National Party in 2014.
Neighbor, can I just?
Sorry, his microphone is open. His microphone is closed, and I want him to open back his microphone.
Okay.
He said that the administration, he agreed.
Hello.
The Senator Crawford.
Senator, we're hearing you.
Yes. No. Again, and strong words as in lied and all of that is
right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to just interact. I've enjoyed the platform, but I'm not going to take the violation. No, I'm saying at the end of the day, if you don't understand the difference between a bill, a framework, and a law, you have to first understand those before you analyze my statements. The fiscal rules as a law was passed in 2014. The fiscal guidelines as a framework.
Senator, I don't want to disrespect you.
100 Live. Let him finish now.
Right. I'm trying to apologize if he feels offended by the
No, I
words
don't
that
feel offended. I don't feel offended. I feel concerned that we just don't want to learn nothing at all. We just have a point, and I am trying to learn from you. You have to at least give me a chance to try and learn from me. So, and it don't mean you have to change your mind, right? So I'm saying the framework as a guide rail is separate from a law as a thing that you have to do. A law suggests that you shall abide. A framework suggests that you should abide. When the IMF came in 2010, indicated under then the JLP that they needed these frameworks. Eventually, when the PMP came, because if you would remember, sir, we actually went off rail with the IMF deal. We didn't take tests for 3 terms. The IMF was unwilling.
So this is stressing. This is stressing me out.
And then eventually, the IMF indicated and the PMP accented that we would have done the fiscal rules as a law. And that can be Googled in 2014. I voted for it. So by extension, I can tell you that.
Okay. All right. Casey, do you have a question for the senator?
Give me some time. Move on to somebody else.
HR, do you have a question for the senator?
Good night, folks.
Night.
Good night.
So, there's a lot of banter about which administration passed the act in question. And I'm actually looking at the act here that is signed by the Governor General himself, P. Patrick Allen, dated the 22nd day of March 2010. That is an act further to amend the Fiscal Administration and Audit Act. That's 2010. I'm actually looking at the document, the signed document by the GG.
We're not going to debate something that can be easily Googled. So therefore, if we think that the laws were passed in 2010, you can take that, put it on the next exam paper, you will fail. The law was passed in 2014.
Neighbor, the laws, neighbor, is neither here nor there. The outcomes have been determined by the strategies, policies, and execution. And therefore, the JLP's execution and policies and strategies are different from the PMP. So even with the law, sir, even with the law, outcomes have been determined because of the strategies of the different parties and policies, sir. And obviously, the PMP's policies and strategies were never the best for the outcomes that they would have intended.
All right, can we?
The thing is, Gusto, let me just briefly complete the point.
This is a waste of time. I must tell you, this guys.
It's a waste of my time as well.
It's a waste of my time.
I have a
I'm way more intelligent than this, and I don't conduct myself like this. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let's end this, no? Listeners.
Yeah, brother. Thank you.
It was nice.
I was trying to get the polls, but
hold on, Mr. Crawford. Hold on, no man. Hold on. We're gonna go back to the poll. Guys,
I'll keep watching.
Take the profanity to another platform. I mean, we the politics that we practice in Jamaica is so nasty, right? That we don't think we can agree. We can disagree respectfully. You hear them across bad word in a parliament? And look at the heated debates that they have. When we're going to have to lower on ourselves. The PNP may lose and the Labour Party may win, or the Labour Party may lose and the PNP will win. So what if somebody loses a debate, or if somebody said something that you don't agree with? Use your evidence. Use your arguments to win the argument. Don't come up here, come cuss bad on.
But yes.
Right? When were the fiscal rules passed? It's a good, we can research it.
Yeah, man.
We
So
don't
let's
need to cuss over it.
Let's Google that. So you can say framework and rules and use the same.
Come on, man. And listen to me. The man is a senator in the parliament. Yes? He comes here and he wants to have a discussion with us, and we just make the thing deteriorating into this. No, it's not right. Okay.
Neighbor, I had a burning question. But before I even go into that, Senator, thank you for being here despite what you have had to go through, and I'm going to break the line from my party on this one. There is no reason to be, and I'm speaking to the listeners here in the comments, there's no reason to be attacking anyone personally. I do debating, I learn you attack the argument, you don't attack the person. Learn that. The sooner you learn that, the easier life becomes. But Senator, I just wanted to ask though, because I'm having, I guess I could say I'm a bit confused, and I'm wondering if it's hinging on between the definitions of something that is passed versus something that is legislated. Here's why I asked that question now. Based on my understanding as a K-plus student, I know that when something is passed, it means that it is a step in the process where laws are made, where Parliament has agreed to adopt a proposed law. So it may be passed by the House of Representatives or passed by the Senate, right? And in Jamaica, we have a bicameral Parliament, right? So even if it's passed by the House, it still has to go to the Senate to receive that passage as well. What I know legislated to mean, though, is that whenever something is legislated, it means that it would have become or turned into law. So it has been passed, signed, and is a part of the legal system. Here's a question I'm going to know. You said that the fiscal responsibility framework in and of itself is like a guardrail per se. However, the same article that would have been read by 100 and myself would have showed that amendments would have been made to the Financial Administration and Audit Act, as well as the Public Bodies Management and I believe it is Authorities Act. So what I'm now asking is, yes, we had the framework, right, in terms of the guardrails that they wanted to put in place, but wouldn't the amendments that would have been put in place into these, I guess you could say, amended bills, would have therefore turned the framework into a law, therefore in 2010, hence enabling its legislation? That's what I'm asking. So through the amendments, wouldn't the amendments for the policy itself, because remember, you know, when you, as you say, when you create the fiscal responsibility framework, it's not legally binding. So in an effort to make it legally binding now, you would therefore make an amendment to the act in and of itself, right? And then turn that into a new bill, legislate it, and turn it into law. So wouldn't, in that case, wouldn't that then suggest that the framework in and of itself would have been put into law in 2010 on that basis, being the amendments were put in place to create these new bills?
All right. I think I found where you in particular.
I sound a bit confused.
Right. No, I understand. I understand. Yes, you made a lot of sense, but I understand. I think where you're having the difficulty. There are some things that we have now called fiscal rules, which are ratios to be attained. None of those ratios were passed in 2010. In 2010, the things that were proposed included a fiscal policy paper to be tabled in Parliament with the budget. So before 2010, the budget would have been tabled, but it wouldn't have had the fiscal policy paper that would have indicated to the public and the Parliament what are the assumptions that were made. It also wanted to ensure that we disclose our fiscal targets, our macroeconomic forecasts, our fiscal risk, etc. Right? So it also indicated that there should be parliamentary oversight through the Public Administrations and Appropriations Committee, and that the Auditor General had a role to assess these targets and to see if the assumptions were reasonable. Now later on, which is the things that are now the guide rails in 2014, they passed the rules about the debt to GDP ratio, and that was set to be 60% by 27-28. It passed the wage to GDP bill that was set to be capped at 9%. It was later changed, I believe, to 11%. It set limits on
Mr. Crawford, what you're saying could not be. Mr. Crawford, what you're saying just now could not be true. And you know what can't be true? Because it was because of a violation of that 9% wage to GDP, while the IMF agreement with the government had collapsed in 2010. So what you're saying just now cannot be true because of that very fact. When they gave the public sector that increase, especially the teachers, the nurses that strike, and the wage bill was pushed over 9% of our GDP. That is what caused the collapse. So what you're saying, that rule could not have been passed in 2014 when it was violated by the JLP in 2010. That will make sense, Mr. Crawford. The Jamaica Fiscal Responsibility Act was passed in 2010.
Sorry, Philippians.
And that is the rules that govern.
Philippians, don't do that. Open the man mic.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Here. Yes, Senator,
right.
we're hearing you. We're hearing
All right. My brother, if you just want to join me, if you go and just chat GPT, because I had to consult chat GPT, type in the questions. Were the fiscal targets set in 2010? The answer, no.
Mr. Crawford, I
just listen, man. Jesus Christ.
I was alive then.
Listen, man. Sure. Type in were the targets set in 2010. The fiscal targets. The answer received, no. The binding numerical targets. Just listen to Jesus Christ. Talk, man. You have a chance. Were not set in 2010. Here's the breakdown. It gives the 2010 reform, and then it gives the 2014 reform. In 2014, amendments to the FAA and the PBMA Acts added legal fiscal rules, including debt to GDP targets to reduce public debt to 60% of GDP by financial year 27-28. Wage bill ceiling, cap public sector wages at 9% of GDP. Primary balance target, maintain high surplus, example 7% of GDP to support debt reduction. Borrowing limits for public bodies and escape clauses and corrective mechanism added. Go and Google, man. Come on.
Mr. Crawford, I'm surprised that as a member of the legislature, you need to Google.
I will screenshot the facts and send them to the group.
I do not need, Mr. Crawford, I do not need ChatGPT to assist me with this. This is factual information. And you as a lawmaker, I am shocked that you need ChatGPT to answer these simple questions. I don't need ChatGPT. The Fiscal Responsibility Act was passed in 2010. The wage to GDP bill was in that, and that is what the Jamaica Labour Party violated in 2010.
I tell you what we're going to do. I tell you what we're going to do.
Let me ask Mr. Crawford a question. Mr. Crawford,
one question, because you're unwilling to research, and we can't debate a man who's unwilling to research.
I tell you what.
Mr. Crawford, let me ask a question. What caused the breakdown between the government of Jamaica in 2010 and the IMF? What caused it?
The government refused to take the tests, refused to take 3 tests.
What caused the breakdown of it, Mr. Crawford? Don't just give me
the answer. If you don't accept the answer, you have to move on.
Because the government of Jamaica violated the wage to GDP clause that was set.
All right.
No way that class could have been set in 2014 and yet violated in 2010.
I tell you what. I tell you what.
Google, man. Go Google.
I tell you what. Thanks.
I tell you what.
What's up now?
I tell you what.
Let me try and have some order. Here.
Yes, I will have to. No. Hold on. I will have to. First of all, get back to this topic, and secondly, we'll have to close. Because I do not think we are benefiting the listeners a lot.
Yes.
In this.
Neighbor, don't act in skin now, neighbor. It's your platform, man, but don't act in skin, neighbor. Reality is, we're not. Hold on, neighbor. Even if you're gonna close, hold on, neighbor. Nobody has disrespected the senator. Neighbor, hold on, man. I listen to you, man.
No.
Neighbor, the senator is being so professional. He's not being disrespectful. We in the panel are not neighbor, whole lot of neighbor. We are not being disrespectful to Mr. Crawford. Mr. Crawford is not being disrespectful to us. People will say what they are wanting to say in the comments. Not because you know them, you go find it. What if you never know them, neighbor? Don't get so thin skin, neighbor. Neighbor, just allow the platform to run, man. Don't get thin skin, man.
So go and turn on your
But we're not being disrespectful to each other. The senator is not being disrespectful, neighbor, man.
Phone, sir, and put them on yours.
Neighbor, don't ask a thin skin, man. Even if you want to show me up because I tell you that, neighbor, man. Don't ask a thin skin, man.
No, brother, hear me.
But if we
people are listening, neighbor, just let the program run. People are learning from Mr. Crawford, and people are learning from us. People are learning from you. Neighbor, remember, you know, you provide a platform for interaction, you know. Remember, it's not necessarily you and Mr. Crawford as a one-on-one, you know. So you allow for us to have arguments. We don't have to always agree, man. We won't always agree, neighbor, man. That's just the nature of us in any reasoning.
Yes, sir. So I must sit here.
Neighbor, come on, man. Even if you want to end or throw me out, man, come on, neighbor, man. Just be more, neighbor.
You think
neighbor, come on, man. The guy is not being disrespectful. We're always not going to agree. Things will become heated. It happens in Parliament, neighbor. Apologies if it happen. People go out of confinement. Just calm, neighbor. It's just natural. I mean, once the respect is not orally being hurled, I think it is okay because that's just the nature of us. Mr. Crawford, as I said, I have to keep on saying it, sir. He's not being disrespectful. He's acting professional, bad to bad. So even with anything that is in the comment that you may find distasteful, notwithstanding, man. Come on, neighbor, man. Neighbor, we have to do this together, you know, man. Neighbor, regardless, we have to do this together. So
you keep saying
come
the
on,
same
man.
thing over and over again. You can't stop now.
Neighbor, overlook certain things, man, because we're more centered in terms of the conversation and not even the comments that are being distasteful, whether from us or the other side. We're more focused on the conversation, sir, because the conversation has more weight than what we're saying that are distasteful, sir. So to put emphasis, as in overemphasis on the distasteful part, that would just defeat the whole. Just come on, neighbor, man. Make it platform run and sure. Come on, man.
Come on.
All right, Delroy.
Right. Come on,
Can I say the last thing because I go also move on to just for the night. But yeah, I love debates, but at the same time, I don't really like violation. I'm gonna like as well people not willing to research. Because if I say something I don't know, I go wrong go research. They can't be unwilling to research. That means the debate have no purpose because we just have quarrel. We're not debate for a reason. No, the gentleman said that we missed targets. The IMF set targets within every single loan that they distribute. That don't indicate that those targets are fiscal rules. Fiscal rules are what is agreed by Parliament and passed into law. None of those existed in 2010. And if anybody don't believe, just Google it. Now, if we are going to debate something where we can simply Google and agree to disagree, it's a waste of the debate. A debate can't be upon an objective fact. It must be a subjective analysis. So if there's an objective fact that the rules were passed into law in 2014, and that can be Googled, anybody can chat GPT right now, and it will show it to be so. In 1988, in 2003, there were IMF targets that were set on basis of lending the money. That don't mean it's a fiscal policy rule.
Crawford, when was the Jamaica Fiscal Responsibility Act passed?
Oh Lord, I'm not answer the same thing again.
You know, the problem is with all of you. I think all of us, I think we like to prolong argument. That doesn't make sense. Mr. Crawford have admitted that it is the JLP's framework.
Yes.
And we should accept that and move on. Despite if Mr. Crawford want to move the goalpost and say the law was passed in 2014, well, all you guys have to say we weren't talking about when the law was passed. Mr. Crawford didn't deny that it was.
We actually are talking about when the law was passed.
No, you
that
moved
was
the goalpost.
Question that was
they weren't talking about that. If I build a car in 2014, in 2010, and have it driving, and you license and register it in 2014, it's not your car. It's as simple as that. So we can move on to other things.
All right, we're going to move on, but let me just make it clear. that the debt to GDP ratios and all the other ratios were established and implemented in 2014.
All right, so Mr. Crawford, we
last question though. One second. Can you say that the framework were not implemented in 2010?
I've already
stated. To say that?
I've said that 100 times, but I've indicated.
Well, you're being dishonest now because it's not that you don't know.
I said, didn't I say yes 100 times that the framework was in?
Cause you kind of flip flop on the platform, man. I just that them a try say, and you know I admit it. We know say you kind of flip flop because remember you come to score little points, and we know that. So nobody, we can move on from that. You need to try to score little points. You need to try to score. Hold on, the fam. You need to try to score little points, and it kind of no work. Which is why me, they try to move the goal post all the time I go to, and I try to make the people know. Say, look here. The outcomes, regardless of the laws, cannot or could not have been achieved. Similarly, unless the policies and the strategies of parties are different. The Labour Party's strategies, policies, and programs are different from that of the PMP, sir. The PMP's policies and strategies, sir, would have crippled the small business sector of Jamaica like it typically does, sir. And also, it would have gotten rid of existing giant economic thing that exists already. So, I mean, the PMP just does not have the knack of finding the better fiscal policies for Jamaicans nor Jamaica. And that's what we want to debate, sir, because the policies of the Jamaica Labour Party are different from those of the People's National Party. And even with the laws that exist, sir, the outcomes could have only been achieved only because of policies, strategies, programs, and executions of all, sir. And that's what I want you to debate, because the PMP's policies run the business, the small business out of business in Jamaica.
All right, Delroy. Mr. Crawford, you have the final word.
Yes, may I tell something to you? First of all, I have way bigger platforms like Parliament. So I'm not really come on a platform to score points. If I enjoy a platform, as I've indicated, I enjoy this platform. I try to help to build it. It don't matter if you're Labour or if you're PNP. I enjoy the platform. And in helping to build it, I add my cachet by coming on and say, yo, what going on? And me, we enjoy the banter. And I will also get information from you. Some of the things when we say on the platform is from learning and discussing and having the conversations. But if I write a letter to the Gleaner, I come in the Gleaner. And if I go on TVJ, I'll be on CVM tomorrow. So there are bigger platforms that exist that me can score points. But if I want to engage, learn, understand, because I can't make laws without knowing what the people are thinking, what they're saying. No, I know this is a JLP platform. Therefore, there's not much fish to fish for on the JLP platform. No, man. I'm also know say Andre show is a PMP platform, so I know platforms. I'm gonna go up on my brethren blogging.
You're comparing me to Andre, sir?
No, just the platform. I'm gonna go up on Blogging God platform. I know it's a JLP platform. I don't fish where the fishes aren't. Right?
This is a JLP platform.
Yeah, dominating. Nothing wrong with that, because you have a right to choose. And you have Fox News in America, and you also have MSNBC. Nothing wrong with that.
I see.
No.
I wonder if it is registered at Belmont Road.
No, you don't have to be registered. The people can.
Then how you call it a JLP platform?
No, all right. Let me explain something. It doesn't mean that that's their intention, you know. People gravitate to things that satisfy their opinion. So therefore, people are going to gravitate to spaces that satisfy their opinion. If I should do a poll in here right now, I would presume more JLP-leaning persons are present. Nothing wrong with that. There's not a negative.
Then the poll that Mr. Don Anderson did, were more PNP people interviewed? Is it a PNP poll?
No, that would be foolish if he did that, because he would have had to try and find validity in his poll. So he must have go throughout the country and try to be reliable in the persons who are likely to vote. So no, I don't.
No, sir. I never published this as a no JLP platform.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, man. You don't have to publish it. More JLP people listen nationwide and they don't publish it. It's just that the conversations gravitate towards their opinion. Nothing wrong with it. As I've indicated to you, you have Fox News and have MSNBC. The people who are for Donald Trump will go to Fox News, and the people who are for Barack Obama will go to MSNBC. These are natural realities of human existence. But I enjoy your platform. I enjoy the thing. I was listening to this young guy earlier, and I really believe him have talent. I've got recruiting. But that's a different story.
Senator Crawford.
Yes.
But don't run it, man. I can't believe you're on this platform misleading the people about the fiscal responsibility rules. Don't do that.
You have 16 minutes. You have 16 minutes.
You have 16 minutes. I will show you up. Don't run. I will show you up for just a second.
I have to leave now, though, because I am preparing for something tomorrow. But I'm saying to you,
don't run, Senator. Don't run,
Mr. Crawford, I want to inform you that we will be doing a poll here on Saturday morning. Saturday morning, we normally have a large viewership. You mute your mic. Are you listening?
Casey, just give me that second. Let me address just something. The finance administration.
Saturday morning, we normally have our large
fiscal responsibility.
So we will be doing a poll for on the PNP and who do we think will be the next should be the next PNP president. It would be interesting. I don't know.
Don't worry about that. We're going to win the election. But after Google, I'll come back tomorrow and we can open this
No, don't run. Senator, do not run, Senator.
We'll see how your poll Saturday morning. Because that is the most important election.
Hold on, Casey, man. Hold on.
Yeah, talk quick.
The fiscal and administration.
Another thing, Mr. Crawford.
Make him talk now. Please. Yes. Go back to the scene.
So the Fiscal Administration Audit Amendment Act of 2010 have these requirements. Subject to subsection 2, the minister shall take the appropriate measures. 1. Reduce the fiscal balance to nil by the end of financial year ending March 31st, 2026, to reduce the total debt to 100% or less of the gross domestic product by the end of the financial year ending March 31st, 2016. So when you're talking about the debt reduction and what, and you can go look at it. It was signed by the Governor General, let me tell you. It was signed by Sir Patrick Allen on the 22nd day of March 2010.
Can I ask you a question?
You're sure?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You're sure?
All right. Are you aware that there is a debt to GDP target now of 60% by 2028?
I am not negating that, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Crawford, what we're saying. Hold on, man. Yes, man. But what I'm saying to you, Mr. Crawford, hold on, man. What you have done is to take away the credit from the Jamaica Labour Party and give it entirely to the People's National Party. The fiscal responsibility. Hold on. Mr. But you're cutting me off. You're trying to hijack me. Give me a second.
Go ahead.
I am saying to you, initially, there was a target to reduce the debt to 100% of GDP by 2016. That was initially set in 2010. The PMP in 20.
I'm here to go now. I'm going to ask you, sir, please.
Can I give him his flowers before he leaves?
No, I'm going to give you an opportunity at a time convenient to yourself for us to go through this. I'm going to do a little work on it and we'll come back to it. You hear, sir?
Yeah, man. Google it and make we discuss. Come here and discuss.
I'm going to want me to discuss this. Okay, sir?
Okay.
Believe me, and I'm confessing, I did not learn much.
With that said, Mr. Crawford, sorry, my bad. Dr. Damian Crawford, I want to confer the doctorate on you. You're a spin doctor. So from going forward, you'll be Dr. Crawford, because you're a very good spin doctor. Because for 2 hours, you refrain and withheld the word amendment and stated to the people that y'all made those amendments. You're trying to claim the whole thing. But now that you're caught,
Google it, I will talk next week. Or tomorrow.
All right, doctor. Dr. Spinner.
All right.
You know what is funny?
I'm a good guy, Dr. Spinner.
I actually listed. There was a number of rules there that were written into law. I read 3 for Dr. Damian Crawford regarding the debt to GDP ratio of reducing it to 100% of GDP. When the PMP got some form of physical space in 2014, they would have made additional amendments to the new targets that were set out. So when they come and pretend as if the targets themselves were established in 2014 to the Jamaican people, Mr. Crawford was misleading your platform. He was lying to the people on the platform. Here, Mr. Neighbor, and I do not appreciate that.
I don't know why we are at 2 hours. You know, I think sometimes the people on this program makes me out to be a fool.
Fiscal. Sorry, Barry, fiscal. Not physical.
What? Hold on there. Let me hear neighbor. Why is happening to your neighbor? Why people make you out to be a fool?
Because I don't think you all are very smart.
Expound some more.
I think you all want to have your little pound of flesh.
I'm not half of the pound of flesh because I listened for how long and let him lie and then
he admitted more than an hour ago when Tari read from the Gleaner. He admitted it. And so
what you do?
I don't know what we are doing.
He
admitted. Hold on.
No, but you said something I wrote neighbor that you said something that flied over my head just a while ago. What did you say a while ago before you explain? What did you say?
I'm saying sometimes you all take me for a fool. Let me tell you something. Ultimately, when a person is doing an interview, for the listeners to decide, you know.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Yeah.
I am not asking questions because I don't know the answer. I want to give information to the listeners. So here is Mr. Crawford. Mr. Crawford is also wanting to provide answers for his listeners. But he misled the listeners. He was corrected and he conceded to the correction. Why couldn't we move on? Why we kept coming back to the fact that he's misleading? Why couldn't we move on?
But even though neighbor, to be honest,
because neighbor at that time,
Mr. Crawford would have
answer the question. When Tari read from the
speak to what you're saying. Wait, hold on.
Let
me speak to exactly what you're saying.
When Tari read from the Gleaner and he said, okay, and Chuck came on and he conceded. That's what a debate is about. Point number 1. You score that one. The listeners have made their judgment. Why we not move on?
All right, we understand that.
More ground.
Neighbor,
so that the listeners can hear more from the interview. Why can't we move on?
You're right.
Hold on. 100. Neighbor, I believe. Hear this. Yes, he conceded. And we heard the concession. We hear him conceding to it, right? We hear him. But here's what you must also understand. He does not give a concession and done there. He spins it. That's why I call him a spin doctor. I have been listening to him, and just like you saying you're confused, you don't learn anything. You know how many other people is left confused when him done spin it? Because even just now, when we not confront him and start read from the act, here are the technicalities we might try to point out and claim overall ownership. That the amendment move it from 100% for the year before and then bring
but every person who comes up address the same thing. And I think that in that regard, you were all just being selfish. You were all just trying to win to show that the senator, you know more than the senator or the senator.
It's not about.
We could have gotten a lot more from this, sir. We could have gotten a lot more from it.
I agree, neighbor. But while you're saying,
this is why I'm gonna make an editorial judgment here. Whenever there is an interview on this program, the boxing will be closed or restricted to 1 or 2 persons coming on. 1 or 2 questions allowed, and we drop them. Philippians, you cause this, you know. Because you keep filling people in the box that repeats the same thing. And I don't see the use of it.
But you know,
Hear this,
neighbor.
Hear this.
100 live. Give me a second.
Him conceded to the argument is all about 2 seconds, and he spent 2 minutes spinning it. That's the point I want to get across to you. Then, so I call him a spin.
Travi. Politicians spin. Politicians spin, sir. Our people are not stupid, you know. You don't think they know when they must spin? You don't think if people are presented with the facts, they can make a judgment? We move on.
But neighbor, you just call us not smart. I mean, just can't pass that statement. You just look at all of us on your platform who support you on a daily. And I defend you, not just here, I defend you on other platforms. And for only to come and speak in my presence to say that you all are not smart. Neighbor.
I said that?
Yes, you did.
No. I never said you are. I think you think I'm not smart. That's what I said.
No. That's not what you said before. No, neighbor.
You did say. I think. That's why I'm saying.
That's why I kept asking you.
Listen to me. If we're going to be petty,
neighbor. No. But you said that, neighbor. You said that. You can't be saying that to your people. You can't be saying that to us.
What's it what?
You can't be saying that. You can't be saying that to us, neighbor. With all due respect.
What did I say?
But you need me to repeat it again, neighbor.
Yes, go ahead.
You said that we are not smart.
You said that we are not smart.
You said it. Well,
it's not an offense. No. I'm not meaning
no, I take
in an offensive way. I'm saying to you that the way you conducted yourselves, in my view, wasn't smart. That may be a better way to put it. I don't think it was smart because I don't think that. I think a lot of you were being selfish. You wanted to make a point. You wanted to prove something. And I don't think you are smart. If you are doing an interview with someone and you have caught them on a point, you leave that. Leave that to the listeners to decide. You don't drill it for 2 hours. Then what do you get out of an interview? Did you know, sir? Did you all know that hold on. There are networks that conduct interviews with people for half hour, and they have 20 questions to ask. You can't spend 45 minutes on one question, brethren. That's not smart. That's what I'm saying.
At the same time, just to
hear this. Oh, go ahead.
Neighbor, you're being very respectful to your program, and we understand that you're looking at the height that this interview could have taken you and Agapitas, and I respect that. We respect your program.
We spent an hour and a half.
No, yes,
I'm gonna address
that, and this is so the reason why, because you have to understand at the same time, this is a very important topic and it is very significant. It's probably one of the most significant arguments you can have with another senator of him being a PMP, right? So I understand that we could have asked him more questions, but in my perspective, there could not be a more important argument to maintain, right? You can ask him about rent to home, you could have asked him about XYZ. But the fiscal
framework. Sir, there were people lined up in the box to ask questions. Why we think they couldn't ask a question?
But
let me ask you a question.
Neighbor, one minute, my friend. One minute, my friend.
Then if Mr. Winner don't want to come back, Mr. Winner, you the start you want. I mean, I don't.
Neighbor, 1 minute there. You ask him a question.
There are some people, you see, that wants to dominate people's program. They want to come on and they must come on. Listen to me. I am saying to you, there are people who want to ask questions. Okay? If we have won a point, we don't need to belabor the point. 10 man come on at the same thing them a point out.
Yeah, because to we as Jamaicans, Mr. Neighbor, you have to understand that this is a very you cannot give the credit of where Jamaica is today.
And young Tari read from the Gleaner. He did.
And I also read from the Jamaica Information Service. And I went on ChatGPT and I typed in the exact thing that Damian Crawford claimed that he typed into his ChatGPT. And what he read out is not what I have. And I have it right here if I can.
All right, so let me ask you, what was achieved? What was achieved at the end of 2 hours? What was achieved?
I think we achieved the fact that he was blatantly trying to mislead the leaders. And he was
what did we achieve?
No, guys, what we actually achieved tonight?
Yes, answer the question. What we achieved?
What we actually achieved?
We point out that the National Party representatives are liars. That is what
But we did that from the first half hour.
But
there was nothing more. What at the same time, the follow-up question is, what were you aiming to achieve from? Because if we are going to agree, everyone is going to agree. All of the 400, 500 viewers are going to agree.
No. And I'm saying to you, if you want to like it or not, it was all about people wanting their pound of flesh. Everybody wanted to come off looking like the star. You know, I caught him. I proved it to him. Guys, we're not on the same team, and we're striking for the same goal. Why do we think that we
I think you know
you see that is part of the problem with the Jamaican football team, you know. Every man wants to score the goal.
Pointless.
We all want to score the goal. And because we want to come off as saying, yeah, we look up on the platform and we see 450 people. So we think that this is my moment. I don't think it's necessary.
Neighbor, 1 minute, neighbor, please. Guys, 1 minute, please. That's why we kind of agree with you a little bit when time. Me I try and move on with the conversation, because when me detect, me I think me I go say that intention, there, man. So my interpretation is this, neighbor. You ask him the question and say, what will the PNP continue if they become government?
And I saw people in my comment.
Yeah, hold on, neighbor. You ask him say.
That's not right.
Yeah, you ask him say, what will the PNP continue?
And he never answered that question.
No, I saw come lead on to that line of conversation. Remember? So what him that try do is I say, okay.
All right. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. No, wait, no good stuff. You have bread, you know. We don't need to have this drink yet. I am going to win support and I'm going to lose support. But let me tell you this, I will win more support. And for every person who leaves the platform, I'll get 10.
Yeah,
okay?
But neighbor, you can adjust that differently. Neighbor, certain things me not really adjust.
I know you're not going anywhere. I know you're not going anywhere.
That's what I said to you, man. That's what I said. Let me just finish, man. Let me finish.
Well, maybe just calm down, neighbor. I respect you very much, neighbor. And the way you conduct yourself, your mannerism is very professional. And I don't expect that you will take anything personal and go to your bed, right? So you're going to just move on from that. Because if people say qualms, you don't need to repeat it, Mr. Neighbor.
Yes, but I want you to
neighbor, when me just land my point, when me just land me have to still and move on. Neighbor, when me just land, when me land on can't talk. Me not take forever like hours. What me have to say is, yeah.
Gustav.
Yeah. Just maintain it.
Yeah, man, me not take forever as always. What me just say this thing, man. What me I try to say, neighbor, the man did that try make it look like say, okay, anything that exists today in terms of policies or strategies that are benefiting Jamaica and Jamaicans, the PNP will continue because they were the ones that started it. That's why I want to try to keep on telling say, sir, stop it, because you are trying to make it look like say we have the same policies and strategies. Because even with any law, neighbor, fine, because the argument is neither here nor there. It is because of policies, strategies, and execution that will determine any outcome. And therefore, at somebody do want to carry him go in a mind, me feel that would achieve something there. So, because their policies were to tax the people excessively and also small businesses are existing. And that all on a neighbor, and that would have neighbor, all on
you have all people know my standards. Okay? Don't you, sir?
Yeah, man. But what me I try to say still, he might try to make it look like say we copycat it them policy and a reap rewards. That he might try to do. That's why we keep on a camp go down the line there.
We prove that to him early.
But nobody no want to come on with me and make him understand. Say, look here, man, stop make it look like say it's a copycat or plagiarized government we have today. Why we will on
when Tari intervened, Delroy, that should have been the end of that. Next question.
Yeah, so what me I try to say is,
and remember, Damian Young is not an
Crawford. Yeah, so me I say we want to move on along because the outcomes that we enjoy today, the benefits we enjoy today.
Let me hear
The
from
benefit
Tari.
come because of different policies, sir. You understand me? Them say more taxes, one say no new taxes. So these are a part of the factors that we are enjoy today, sir. So that's why I did want him go policies, because if I did policies him go, when we list out their own, then we have to say them no better for Jamaica indeed. So a long time I want him go down policy road and him no want come, man. And then me not get no healthy care done policy road.
Yeah, let me hear from Tari. Tari?
It is the things like these why young people don't want to vote. And I've said it time and time again. It is the things like these why young people just don't want to be involved in politics. All we, and I'm not even just gonna say for the commenters, but overall, neighbor, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone. I am deeply disappointed tonight.
Myself.
Deeply disappointed tonight. I am sure there would have been many genuine listeners here with actual questions. I read what was said on the Gleaner. We could have moved on. As a matter of fact, the senator even conceded and said, well, agree to disagree, I will move on. It's as simple as that. Yes, I understand that we want to say that the senator is misleading or maybe he lied or whatever. I understand that we want to do that. But we have to ensure that there is civility within the program as well. I'm a 17-year-old. I did not grow up in, well, let me not say that. I grew up in the era, yes, but I wasn't that aware to know what was happening. So yes, what Chuck is saying and what Travi and everybody else is saying, yes, it's true and I get that. And yes, I understand that. But I still need to hear what the senator is saying so that I know how to respond and I know the question that I'm going to ask because I'm going to be dealing with facts.
Yes.
And yeah, maybe he's pushing a narrative, yes, and I understand that. But the reality is,
and you expect him, Tari, you expect him to push that narrative.
Right. He's a member of opposition. It's going to happen. Right? That is naturally going to happen. But what we do is simple. Allow them to state what they have stated. We correct. Say that they have probably misled. We correct. And we move on from it.
But Tari, let me give you a little word, Tari, is that don't amused by the presence of Damian Crawford. He's very active in this space, right? It's like
I'm not amused by his...
Let me just give you a little rundown.
Okay.
It's probably my 20th time seeing him in various lives and I'm communicating with him, right? So this is what you heard him saying about giving the reason why we were probably rattled by what he said is that this is a narrative being pushed by the People's National Party. Right, and for him to be adamant and adhere with him, to me personally, I did not hear him concede to the point that of 2010. I kept hearing him saying 2014. I don't know if I was distracted when he conceded the point. So you're gonna be in his presence very often if you remain on the live, and you're gonna see that it's not nothing new and their blatancy, right? So
right, and I understand that 100, and I do understand that. But in irrespective of all of that, we must strive to also still remain professional and civil with what we're saying. Hey, this is a literal debate that we're having. Senator says one thing, you respond with another, and you just move
but I'm
on.
expecting from my
Respectfully
senator
speaking.
But from my minister, I'm expecting professionality and civility also, right?
No, so you can't expect that. So the man is the opposition. You cannot expect that 100. The man supposed to be where man be tonight.
100.
You cannot expect the man to be. Come on, bro. The man have to play him cards according to benefits for him. So if I even go lie, hold on, fam. If I even go lie, hold on, Tari, make a point to you have to understand the man is a train debater, and me to understand the debate tactics because though me never were a part of it, me did listen over here the tactic and the training. Listen, where Tara making notes. Look, yes, hold on, fam. You see when him nail it there, so You make him make same point of reference and tell the people them to Google it, then you go up and you debunk it and refute it with your claim and send people to go research it too, remove on because we at a deadlock there, so therefore him not go concede, I should not either. So we're gonna send the people now to research. So I put my data out, him put him out, we move on to the next thing because remember he will never concede. And he's not supposed to, he's not obligated to in a debate, he's supposed to try win.
He's not obligated to in a debate.
He's supposed to try win, bro.
That's the point, a side opposition.
Gusto, at the same time, you know, I don't think we're gonna ever have.
Because we need to come to an understanding.
I don't think there's gonna be ever a more important conversation to have with the opposition, because if we give credit of the fiscal discipline policy that we have to the People's National Party, every achievement that we have in Jamaica,
thank you very much.
They can claim everything that the Jamaica Labour Party is doing. So this is at the same time, this is a very important topic. I don't know, I try to make it look like
I think let me
finish. Now make it look like say, all right, make it stop that about the fiscal, make it stop that about fiscal responsibility and
Casey wants to come
down road.
Can I just say two things more? So Casey, I won't belong. And like a young man said, everything hinges on this man. It's very important, and that's why he never move on. Neighbor, you tried a few times to move the program, but Damien never want to move on because he wanted a win also. You cannot just see what the JLP people were trying to do and not see what he is trying to do also. He was desperate for a win. The next oh, that's right. When I'm feedback.
Who's that? Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds like
but this is the very stem that the position of Jamaica.
All right.
This is
Delroy, you can mute Delroy, please. Moderator, mute Delroy. Just let me next point and leave. Let me next point and can you hear me? Neighbor, you hear me?
His microphone
We're hearing
is
it,
turned off.
Traffic. We're
You
hearing
can hear me?
it.
Okay. Right. So the next thing I also want to say, this is some of the people that came on to respond to Damien. They weren't on the program all along. You know how me know so Damien over here is a text message me get to Damien over here, the way I do. And that's why I come in and start listen first and then me come into the box. Much like other people who showed up because somebody may have texted or called them and would not have heard when he conceded to Tari or to somebody else before that. You understand me? And that's why people that come in and go back to that question. And that's that me I say.
All right. Well, why I tell you something. These spaces, you live and you learn. But I think we should learn more as we live. We do not have all the information and we're not listening to each other. I wish we just listen. We need to listen some more.
My good neighbor.
Hi, sir.
Let me check something I see. In the last, say 2 weeks, how many visitors Mr. Crawford made to your platform?
This is the second time.
Okay. Do you think his visits are accidental? Because
No,
I can tell you.
he says he always listens.
And I can tell you that he sent to your platform because they think that when the regular comrade come on your platform and you speak to them, they're unable to respond to you. So he's coming as a more, he was sent, not he's coming, he was sent as a more popular and better speaker to see if he can win you over or force you to back down from challenging the information. That's why he's here, to see if they can get you to back down from challenging the information when they put it out. Yeah, but there's a few things that all our Labour Party bloggers are passionate about. And you see that single piece of legislation which is called the Jamaica Fiscal Responsibility Act, that we know to be the foundation of our our fiscal rebuilding. We are very passionate about it. That is ours. Bruce Golding and Ardley Shaw put that together and pass it in the House. And we will not allow any PMP to come and try to steal it. That's what they have done over many decades when they try to steal the legacies of the Jamaica Labour Party. They have done it with Jamal. They have done it with Hart. Them do it with a lot of program. Then tell us that they make the bastard know they again. All sort of thing where them take because there was nobody out here defending it. And now they are trying it again with the Jamaica Fiscal Responsibility Act. The only thing the PMP did to that act, neighbor, was to go in and put what them call the emergency borrowing powers clause in it. That's what they did in 2014. They tried to give themselves a back door to run up the national debt again. So when people like me, neighbor, here, Damian Crawford, come in here to try to claim that piece of legislation, we will not have it, neighbor. So I excuse my fellow laborers if we are very passionate about it. We now make them thief, neighbor. We now make them thief it. Bruce Golding, baby, that. Bruce Golding campaigned on it and he delivered it. And we are living by it today, neighbor.
And Chuck, if I may, that legislation is so serious and the PMP are really half right to the point where the Prime Minister had to address it in his budget presentation this year.
Let me respond to Chuck. Chuck? Okay. All right. No.
I'm listening.
I have recognized that many PNP don't come here. My understanding is that they have been told not to come and talk to me because obviously we ask them questions. Mr. Crawford's presence here helps the platform, no doubt. He's a popular politician, he's a senator, he's a opposition spokesman for the People's National Party. I expect that when Mr. Crawford comes here, we invite Mr. Mark Golding, we invite other members of the PMP. We are expecting to have Dayton Campbell, that we would treat them with respect. Yes, that if we get a chance to speak to these men, we treat them with respect. That's all I'm asking. And that we do not spend 1.5 hours on one point because we want to show them up. The listeners see that. Okay? We have the latitude because we have been going now from 5 o'clock, 5 hours. Okay? If we were on radio or TV, we don't have that latitude. Right? I've been wanting to close from a long time. I have other things to do. I have tried to facilitate you. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or rude to you. And I said something earlier, Winner has taken offense to that I don't think we were being smart, that you guys were being smart. Right? Because when you have someone like a Damian, you have to get in a lot of things. It's not for us to spend 1.5 hours. And I've always said, the show is not about us, it's about the listeners. It's not about us only, it's about the listeners. Are the listeners benefiting from our rambling and our back and forth and our cussing out? The listeners are not. Yes? Ask them what are the fiscal rules. Did they learn? Do they know what it is? No. All right. Casey?
Yes, neighbor. Yes, neighbor. Doug Finley. Guys, I think.
Come on, I'm here. I'm listening.
I understand why the conversation went down the road. It went. Neighbor, you did well, and it's your platform, and I understand what you're trying to achieve. I think though you allowed it to go too far. I think you should not always depend on the moderator, because people are listening to you. You should give a person 3 minutes and move on to the next person. I tried to say that the last time. That's what I was trying to say. And here it comes. It happens again. I too came on, and eventually when I came on, I hit the same topic because it wouldn't go. And as the guys are saying, it's a very important topic because whoever claimed paternity for the fiscal framework gets credit for our fiscal discipline over the past 9 years, over the past 15 years, and gets credit for making our economy as strong as it is now.
Right, which is why I want to move him from how long.
I was basically saying when I came on, Damien, you know, you weren't there in 2010. You moved the goalpost to when the law was passed. We're not talking about when the law was passed, because he said, before I came on, I hear him said, there's a difference between the framework and the law. And the framework was from 2010, but it was passed in 2014. So he admitted that PNP didn't have anything to do with it. So, and then he tried to spin that again. So he continued to spin. And while you want to encourage him to come back, I think you need to stop him in his tracks though, and said, well, I think that's a reasonable argument, Damien. Let's move on from this, because I hear you said that the framework was from 2010 and you weren't there 2010. So the law was passed. Okay, they built the vehicle, you license it, but all you did was license it.
Exactly. And Casey, he kept repeating 16 or Casey.
I think you allow us too much latitude.
I tell you something, Casey. It is very difficult when you don't have control over the box. When you don't have control over the box.
You have your mic, and you could say from the get-go, Chuck Finley, you are at the top. We're starting from top. You have one question, and then after Mr. Crawford answer, you have 2 minutes to rebut. And we are going to 100 live.
But the Prime Minister admitted to that in a neighbor. Remember the Prime Minister said the PNP played a role, but he told them that only because they had to maintain what they implemented.
He said it, to be fair to neighbor.
Remember the Prime Minister said they are to be credited, but only because they had no option to continue what the Bruce Gold in the administration had left behind. So the Prime Minister gave them credit, but told them how they were supposed to take the credit.
Let me say something.
That's why I'm moving. I say, yo, no, we go in a policies, bro.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
He did say.
Can I say something? There is something. Listen, that Casey does that. There is something.
Gustav.
Yes, Casey.
You Richards in our background?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Listen again, man. You never hear him look what? And he friend them. When me a pass, they are them.
Gustav, I don't know if you know this, that the listeners own the platform. They own it.
Yes.
This belongs to them. This belongs to you.
Well, let us use the us neighbor, because we help to do this.
Another thing before I go. One thing before I go. Neighbor, I can understand that when you say we weren't very smart, it's because you know how much better we could have done. Because
yeah, man, that's something I take it as a disrespect. Me see it because I understand. I understand your neighbor, because even if I feel that way, I understand it, because I want to move on.
Let Casey make this point, because I think he's saying it clearer than I can. Go ahead, Casey.
Yes, I say when you say that we we were not very smart. I think you're saying it from a standpoint.
Constructive criticism. Constructive.
Where you're saying that we could have done better. We could have conducted ourselves better and even caught Damian Crawford better because you know how intelligent we are and you know the level of intellect that's in the box. But we all keep on coming with the same strategy.
And that's not smart.
So much so as if saying the same thing or on the same topic. Because I tried to change it up when I come with the car. The car was built from 2010.
And that's not smart. And one man gone off of the platform. He's not coming back because we disrespect him. Well, please. Sure.
Yes, and a
lot of people. Tomorrow, me and you I go follow.
And Daddy Chuck understand, you know. Daddy Chuck there too, you know. Me know Daddy Chuck kind of feel a way too, but Daddy Chuck kind of understand. Just like myself and Tari feel a way, but we understand.
If I cut off, I'm the one who actually cut off Chuck.
My feeling ways then.
Chuck, I'm the one who actually cut you off, you know. And last week it was Goody, and then Goody take me on. It was the very same thing, you know. She thought she had Damian Crawford on the ropes, but she was doing the same thing over and over again, and he was spinning.
Yeah.
So I wanted to change it a little and then give you a chance to go
but
again.
Neighbor, I brought up about the argument, and it was initially because my fault. Gusto did move on to constituency, asking him to point out which constituency is presentable. And I brought back the conversation to the fiscal discipline because to me, as Chuck pointed out, it's a very passionate argument amongst us labor, right? Because that is the very branch that the Jamaica that we have to present to the world is stemmed on. That is the root of everything that we have accomplished, right? And for them to claim paternity of it, as Casey said, is them claiming paternity of every
we could have made that point. We could have made that point, and I will say it again.
Mm-hmm.
We could have been more smart. And I will say to you guys, I appreciate you all. I thank you for your support in helping to put this platform where it is. We could not have done it without you.
And we have further to go, neighbor. We have
yes,
further.
but please respect my position here as the host. Okay? I do not come here frivolously. Don't come here and try to take it over. Somebody's on and you want to ask a question. You can't do that to Cliff Hughes. You can't do that to George Davis. You have to respect that there's a host and he has certain latitude over the show. So I never get in a question after half hour. Never get in a question.
The passion was oozing, neighbor.
Well, I never got a question in, and I had lots of other questions that I wanted to ask. But my friends here never gave me a chance because guess what? They think that they
neighbor, neighbor, it is as Chuck tell you. See this, our baby. And as a father, you can understand the passion for your child. And if they take this child and take everything, every inheritance, every future that you have with you. Neighbor, I want you to understand. I said it earlier and I'm going to say it again.
Jamaica girl,
this is so important. This is so important that the Prime Minister himself had to address it at the grandest moment when the entire nation is watching at the budget presentation this year. And the funny thing about it, Damian and all his leaders was there. They never rebut, they never argued, the Greener never come the next day to debunk because the truth was spoken and they had to accept it. Now, he made a point earlier when he said that he could have gone on bigger platforms. Absolute rubbish, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful. It's a slight dig. That he could have gone on to bigger programs.
Yeah,
what I wanted to say to him is those things that you're saying are relics of history. People, they are no longer connected to the people. People have disconnected themselves from the Gleaner, CVM, TVJ, and all of that to them. And if you don't believe me, my backing argument
this is where
is their balance
1,000 facts Chavi attack.
My backing argument is their balance sheet. They're losing money. They themselves has created social media pages like unto yours to be like a platform because the listenership and the viewership has moved away from them. So him coming out to say that is absolute rubbish and borderline disrespectful. That's what I wanted to say.
Does he know that when you turn off your live, you see 7,000 viewers, you see 10,000 viewers, right? He doesn't know these things, right? So he's trying to downplay your platform, and that is very disrespectful.
No, but I tell you,
he not downplay it. He might use sites. He might use a try to tell neighbor say, look here, me a big a platform.
He make a thing look little.
He might make a thing. I tell you say he little, but he might make it big, which in it bigger than him. Because him can do him live and gather the people when he want. Because why? Him knows I be a comrade him I go talk to. Him knows the platforms like these kind of more neutral. So when him do, say it is a labor platform. Him damn well knows this platform is a neutral, though dominated by us to make sure the lies not escape.
I'll say this. If you look into his argument, here's the hypocrisy. He will state that, oh, this is a labor right platform. I know me not fish nothing over here. So your whole point at this moment of time, in this dispensation, is to fish, Damien. There's nothing more important in your life than this moment right here. Because you know that if your party lose this next general election, it's another 20 years before y'all come to power. And that's why y'all are fighting tooth and nail. Yes. That's why you're here now. Don't do that.
This is a big platform in Jamaica, sir. Bigger than
neighbor.
Yes, and I don't like the fact that he don't play. I was gonna address him, but someone was speaking.
Hold on,
neighbor. Yeah, okay, go through.
Neighbor, do you know who bring in the land lease program?
Well, the PNP say them.
All right. Do you know who passed the what we call the debastardization act, where make every child can make an inheritance for them father?
Yeah. But you know, sir, you are the man with all of this information. You can tell us.
I'm saying, you see, these things are things that was put in place by the Jamaica Labour Party. But the PMP, them cut one song and claim all of them in the song. So generation after generation grew up believing that these were PMP initiatives.
But can I tell you something? Can I tell you something, Chuck? People like yourself, Travi, Delroy, all of you online here, you are doing such a service to your party and to your country. Because there was a time, sir, when many people would not even know these things. And here you are confronting a senator, once a vice president of the People's National Party on these important matters. It is tremendous, and I commend you guys first. I regret that I regret that Winner felt offended. Winner, my brother, if we offend you by our passion, by our comments, we apologize and we invite you back. We feel that in the heat of conversation.
Yeah, but I am sure Winner will be back. Winner just kind of
in the heat of conversations.
Calm down.
Yes, the passion was flowing. The passion was
flowing. Yeah, we're passionate about the party and
I was not saying that we were not smart. All I was saying is that
we're being smart. We're conducting ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
We understand.
All right. For example, again, 100 and neighbor. If he private truck raise a while ago about policy, if truck did come on and tackle Damien about that road, now you could have opened up. You could have opening up some more, and make him look like Reef representing the PMP,
And you, Delroy, when the fact of the matter is that I should be able, Delroy, to say I have to close down. I should be able to say that. No, so without you reprimanding me for that I have to stay.
Can I make a point, please?
Delroy, Delroy, I must applaud you. You deserve your box food. You deserve your dinner. You dealt with that.
You couldn't like after that.
Yes, man. He couldn't lock up the dance. The dance was too hot. How dare you turn off the sound? Because neighbor was doing too caught up in the moment, and Delroy kind of really mean back. Yes. And Delroy, you deserve your dinner tonight.
Neighbor, you didn't lock it off, you know. In a real life, you did get heated and overcome by the comments and everything, you know. Me I watch you before you start talking, you know. I mean, I say, watch neighbor, watch him. I wait upon if you say it, you know.
Yeah,
let me just take you on for it.
Yes, man. A good beat, man. Listen, Delroy, you
gentlemen, there's a beautiful young lady up at the top who says she wants to make a point.
Yes, but you know respect due to you, Delroy. You've been here from day one.
Yeah, man.
And you will be here to the end, eh?
Yeah, man. That's a mistake, man. I stick around real people all the way. So me there around everybody see me. I when not think me did them, man. Real life thing.
Yeah, but there's a certain behavior that I do not appreciate, and those persons who are using certain language in the comments, I beg you, we can avoid that. Miss, how are you?
I'm doing good. So good night, everybody. So I came on here for politics, right? Because that's what I use my social media for, politics. So I was hoping to hear about politics.
Yes.
Right? Which we were discussing, or you guys were discussing politics. But there's no way in the world of discussion can 5 persons speak at once. Yes. Right? The Mr. Crawford came and he was sharing his point and he was debating and whatever. I understand that you guys are heated and the testosterone and you guys are in hunting mood, but you have to give him a chance to speak. Right? I cannot hear what he's saying when everybody else is talking. If you don't agree with what he's saying, you jot it down. Everybody should get at least 2 minutes to speak, right? And the moderator, please to mute everybody else's box when somebody else is speaking, because I'm
not moderating, and that is a challenge. I'm not.
Yeah, so the moderator, whenever she hears somebody speaking, just mute everybody else so I can hear what the person is saying. Up to now, I don't know what is happening, you know. Because I'll be shouting, open female, one bugger talking, then Chuck coming, then I don't know what's happening. Right?
Madam, can I ask you a question, madam?
Sure.
If you know a raper in your community, how close would you let him get to see if he's going to rape you?
No, that's not the point. The point is,
but that's a different context, Chuck.
Yeah, and that's
my point is that I know Mr. Crawford. I'm gonna say something about myself and Mr. Crawford. We're not gonna find shocking. Me and David have the same barber, you know.
No, that's I'm a labor, right? And we're acting like what I heard before is like he was in a market. I understand that you guys don't agree with what he's saying, or you may agree with what point that he's saying. Jot it down, and when it's your time to speak, you expound on it. When everybody is speaking at the same time, the listeners cannot hear. Don't know what's happening. You understand? Yeah. So it's not a point of politics. Yeah. Politics aside, we're talking about discussion right now. You have to give everybody a chance to speak, whether you agree or disagree. You understand? So what I think should happen is the moderator give everybody a minute and a half to speak. And once a minute and a half finish, your moderator you might be turned off and somebody else.
Can I say something to you, miss? Can I say something to you? Have you ever heard the statement being made that Parliament is not a Sunday school class? Have you heard that? Ever heard that?
No.
No. Okay. So what they're actually saying is that in the space that you call Parliament, there are going to be moments when debates get tough. Mm-hmm. And some may even say hot. And the intrigue, the ego that comes into these debates sometimes causes a little bit of, you know,
yeah, I understand that
what you experienced tonight. What you experienced tonight.
I can't hear.
But I think
that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the discussion. Yeah, I get that point, but we're here right now, right? And everybody's mic is on. I cannot hear when everybody talking. When you're in parliament, one person mic on. Yes, you hear everybody else talking, you know, but your ears, you can only hear the person who is speaking clearly. You can't hear everybody else. You hear them talking, but you can't hear them clearly. You only can hear the MP or whomever. You understand?
Well, madam, in defense of neighbors platform, what happened tonight was the exception, not the norm. Yes, in defense of neighbors. What happened tonight was the exception, not the norm. Not the norm. Normally we well behave over here, neighbor. You can divulge that. Normally we are well behaved. But as I said before, my friend, these things, for those of us who grew up watching the legacy of the Jamaica Labour Party being stolen for decades by the Gleaner, by every other major news outlet. If it wasn't for social media, a lot of people wouldn't know a lot of things that the Jamaica Labour Party did for this country, because most of them were stolen. So when any Labourite, like myself, here, Damian Crawford, come on a platform, and I'm going to say it was the PMP that passed the Fiscal Responsibility Act, we now go make him spit a second word before we jump on it.
Anytime listen, I'm a Labourite as well. I want a PMP talk, my matic full. Me ready for shoot everybody. Right? So I understand. We're ready to shoot everybody. Any point when I make no sense, we're ready for attack it. But what I'm saying is you have to give everybody a chance to speak. That's what I'm saying. But give somebody 1 minute or 2 minutes and make them talk. And if you don't agree, you jot it down. That's what I've said, you know. Whenever I said about enough talk. Yeah, everybody talk.
I saw the
PMP
blogger today was on a platform where he was given 5 minutes to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And he
make we talk on the same platform, you know. They don't make we talk. Yes, anytime you go over there, my mouth, they're ready for block me. But we are different. We are the civilized sect. And we should act as such. So whenever somebody speaks and you don't agree with it, you jot it down. You don't speak over the person. We don't all speak over each other, and I don't know what's happening. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree. Featuring ma'am, is that we misconducted ourselves, and that neighbor did allude to say, we know our capacity, and we weren't smart about how we conducted ourselves. But you see, this is where I hinge my hat on, is that this very topic that was being discussed is one that I will not allow to be, because when he said 2014, I upped on the live and I said stop lying, and then he started talking about I'm using a aggressive tone, right? And then I assumed that, all right, let me apologize for calling him a liar, but then he was maintaining his stand on 2014. So just understand, please, that this very topic is something that we as Labour right have to defend rigorously, right? Because if we allow this to slip, if we allow this to slip, history are gonna be against us again, and we make it we're always too timid with our approach. Allow the PMP to retrofit our policies, and if we ever get the opportunity to retrofit the fiscal discipline policy, history will not be smiling at the Jamaica Labour Party, right? And this Andrew Holness-led administration just have to understand that we are at risk here.
Don't you find it strange, neighbor?
Yes.
That a lawmaker who sits in the house and was a part of the parliament have to go to chat GTP for information? A man who sits in the house would have had a vote on this very bill, had to go to chat GTP to find out when he vote on it.
Well, not just that, but he did not peddle a response from the place, the house where the legislation is being made, after the Prime Minister stated that they are not the father. You didn't rebut, but you come directly to the people to try and instill into the minds of the people that is your work. And we must pay attention to it, and that's why I'm so offended when he talk about he could have go a bigger platform. You know, children know that part they cut me.
And neighbor, I will admit, I will even admit, I was even a bit disappointed with how he responded to my question when I asked him, when the amendments are put in place, technically it is law, so wouldn't it have been passed in 2010? And he was, I would say, bubbling and weaving over my question, which I will even say, neighbor, there's so many sides to this one issue because one, the platform that we're on, TikTok, is not a rigorous platform that allows for all of this debate, right? Plus, of course, you can't control how people go behave. Conduct is just a natural human thing, right? And I honestly just see with every point that is being made here, God no, because the reality is, as 100 and Traffic would have said, if we don't defend something like this with our life, every other thing that comes after the fiscal responsibility framework, they're going to claim it as their own. And I can understand that point, which is why I can understand the passion. But I can also understand the point about our conduct, which can be better. And to be honest, neighbor, if we're going to do a debate style format for future reference, I'd say we either do one of two things. If someone is speaking and we wish to interject, I would suggest we either ask, like how in Parliament you'd have point of order or point of information or whatever. I'd suggest that we do something similar to that, or we wait until the person is done, and then when we're starting our argument, we debunk them and then go into whatever else we have to say. That's for future reference.
We're not going to debunk with the owner facts. We're going to debunk with facts.
Yeah, we're going to debunk obviously with facts. That's just it, right? We're going to have to debunk with facts.
Some of the time, if we allow them to speak without they say how
in the box.
do these things is that them tell you 20 different lies in a one go and hope you can only respond to 10. So 10 go unanswered.
That's why
right, and we
all 20. You understand
we
how when
we
you
might know what the message
was not hearing. Them all forgot what him said and forgot why you even rebut. So you have to give everybody a chance to speak. One person get 2 minutes in the box, and then somebody else get a chance to disagree and agree. But you have to drop down your point.
Hear the man to me. When me ask him about policies, the man tell me, say, that's why my government will get voted out. I say, really? Somebody want him come because if them are policies here, I benefit people so much. Explain to me, Mr. Crawford, how them make people want to vote out the government. And so now we could get to expose him some more, sir. But he move on and go back at the same argument where everybody want to reason upon from the start at the fiscal responsibility where, to me, the policies them afterwards will carry more weight, conversating, to them to say, yo, the PMP, nothing be the father for today's development and today's modernization of Jamaica.
What a program, what a day. 5.5 hours and we're still going. Look at that, eh? Still have 300 persons watching. Let me check how many people are on the For You page. Let me just check that, eh? Look at that. More than 500. Oh, why I tell you. 800 people still locked in at 10:30.
And then him come a disrespectful platform. Make him good.
Man, Chuck Finney tell you, man. Chuck Finney tell you, say the man says the comrade, them will come here. Cannot help themselves. Them cannot help themselves. He was sent, and just like Chuck tell you, though he tell you, say him come by every now and again. If I haven't told comrade in him ears, I say, boy, you have your company platform, because you know look good. And the argument they might use, sir, but the other platforms that are bigger. Neighbor, they probably have more followers, but when them go live or so daytime or nighttime, yeah, even up with them with numbers. And then them know, say for them platforms, even when the numbers look good, it is predominantly comrades and people who support the PMP. Now, more neutral people find themselves over here. Neighbor, I told you from longer time that yes, when you see they want to come out of the fish pool and come and land on your program, these people recognize that this platform carries weight. Remember, the platform came off the premise and is on the premise of truth. Even you wouldn't allow for us as Labour Right to spread misinformation. And guess what as well? If a Labour Right comes on the platform and spread information that is inaccurate, you realize upon the platform another Labour Right to correct you, or me. So that may I try to show you. Don't be fooled by this man to think that the platform does not carry any weight. Lie. When people be confessing on the platform that are the first them I hear this, and people be confessing say the first them I hear them a truth, yeah, And the first time I realized the PMP did a lie. Neighbor, how you mean say the platform not carrying no weight? The man is lying.
And what he kept saying was that they passed it in law, the fiscal responsibility in law in 2014. No, they made an amendment. In short, they made a change, right? And they changed it. They changed various things about the rule. They put a escape financial clause in it in 2010, and that is in the chat GPT, right?
See, I personally comment on Jed. See, I personally comment. The personally comments a neighbor. JLP has my vote after today's program. You know what I mean? This is somebody that attests. So today's program to them bear fruit, and it would have caused them to want to cast a vote for the JLP. I'm not going to call out the person name, but in the chat and you'll see it.
Scratchy is here. Scratchy, how you
But
doing,
as
man?
I say, Eve, as we said that, you know, it can have the opposite effect.
Wait for Tari. Hold on, Tari. Go on again, Tari.
You're making my night. You're making my night.
I've
How
got
you doing, man?
hold on.
One scratch.
I mean, just watch what's going on, neighbor. Let's watch what's going on, you know?
You're in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, watch what's going on, neighbor.
Boys, you're under pressure. Can you hold
no,
me
but
tomorrow?
you have Gusto, so you have nothing to worry about. You have Gusto.
Well, Gusto.
Yo, Scratchy, where are you with this?
Yes, my neighbor.
Yes,
You have to come here, come back me up every day. You know, you can't leave me by myself.
Not at all. Neighbor here informed me that say he has some good news for the platform and also Jamaica. Okay. I don't know if I can provide him a box if there's not enough, and he can give the information of good news.
There's not enough box for him.
All right, I'll just relate my box to info.
He's good, man. He's good. Not
okay.
What do you mean no info?
Info, what kind of news that info you make me nervous, you know, bro. What kind of big news?
No. So Scratchy. Make you go back to Scratchy. So Scratchy, what's happening, man?
I'm here, neighbor. Just chilling, you know.
Yes. Boy, I tell you, it's been a heck of a night.
I mean, yeah, neighbor, I'm just understanding the neighbor. Yeah, you know, getting better, so yeah, it come with the territory, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, the enchanted waters are what they call it. It's the sort of type of speech to animals, you know.
Yes.
Scratchy,
but you have to be strong like a lion, not you.
Yeah, what about you, sure?
Where I go? Scratchy, I would have said.
You're very low, though, Scratchy.
You hearing me better now?
Scratchy, the Prime Minister have some warrior out there, you know. I don't know when load them with, you know, but every time they see a comrade come on a platform, I tell you,
especially a comrade like a Damien Crawford, a Jordan type of. A comrade like Damien Crawford, a draw these type of things, neighbor. You definitely have to understand that.
I've never seen Jamaica Labour Party supporters so armed and dangerous.
No, but Ariasha, are we baby man attack too, you know, bro? I know, and he couldn't take anything else, man, and we say, all right, go on, but no. This guy discipline, he must be crazy.
Not my grandmother would have tell me, said, not even Mr. Strago Warriors, them was so militant.
Yeah. Well, so I go, but I tell you.
But me, I don't know, neighbor. I think as a host, though, neighbor, and this is just my advice. You don't have to take it or anything, but I noticed the last two conversations that you had with Mr. Crawford. I was in the chat. I was online, but I was in the chat, and I realized, just like the last time, I know it caused a big commotion after both with you and persons who are online and persons who are also in the chat. I think maybe, neighbor, going forward, there's a lot of persons, neighbor, because remember the neighbor is a whole lot of different session you hold in the neighbor. Some persons see you as a JLP blogger. So I think with some, you send that message a lot sometimes to neighbor, I must tell her, yes, you send a message as a JLP blogger. In a pronouncement, even in a engagement in these. Remember, you're the moderator, neighbor. And I think maybe you need to make persons understand that your life that you have outside of this platform, you cannot, your personality and your job role where you can't attack certain persons like or other persons like me, myself, and other persons who don't hold a certain title, who can't say anything to a senator or attacking a member of the People's National Party in a certain way. I think maybe I need to make that clear that you're a clergyman, you're a man of clergy, you're also a man who's a part of social intervention programs. So whichever government in power, you might have to go to some negotiation table with that government at some point in time. So I think maybe, neighbor, you have to set that clear because some person in the chat, neighbor, they might watch you last week, you come off strong as a JLP blogger, and come see you this week now, and see you with a more, entertaining approach towards these comrades. So I think maybe you have to make it clear, neighbor, before you even start, you have to make it clear that, this is a senator, and I'm in the role as a moderator here. Yes, everybody know that I have a role that I might favorite, I have a role that a side that I choose more than the other. But in my discussion with Mr. Crawford, I can still try to hold some form of a professionalism, same way, if I must say.
And you want to tell me that we do not have the intellectual acumen to understand that a person asks questions to get information. We are in my engaging Mr. Crawford. Could anyone say I'm not asking questions that Crawford ought to answer?
I mean, not the questions. I don't think the questions are the problem. I don't think the questions are the problem, neighbor. I think it's sometimes if someone might think that Mr. Crawford is spewing something that might be some form of misinformation, persons in the chat might feel that you don't stop him in his track quick enough. You give him too much time.
So don't you think that my apparent neutrality has been one of the reasons for the program's success? To the point.
Exactly.
Yes, I would definitely attribute that to you.
Because
you're somewhat, not your parent, but you're somewhat of a neutrality. You're somewhat of a neutrality.
Yeah, Mr. Crawford is saying that he listens to the program all the time, and he's a PNP man.
Yes, I neighbor, you know my issue. I have no problem with PNP coming onto the program and having a discussion. You're someone who I think you can ask the question, they know how to ask the question. But again, neighbor, as you said, our viewers are persons who create the program. You said that earlier on. Your viewers are who make the program. So I think not to really say that you want to go all into pleasing the viewers. They have a mixture of viewers. So might understand, yes, from where you're coming from, neighbor. But I am saying is, if last week, neighbor, I am seeing you attacking someone, I am seeing you strident. And I'm saying, whoa, neighbor is one of those JLP bulldogs then. And this week now I'm seeing you with someone who I think you should even go more harder on. And to my sense, I feel that neighbor is too accommodating to this person. I have no problem with it, neighbor. I have no problem, but I think that person in the chat. I tell you this, neighbor, the last two discussions that you have with Mr. Crawford, neighbor, after you have this same thing with the persons in the chat, and the person's coming and having a way, you moderate the thing.
And I understand. You see that I had an interview with Mr. Damian Young on Saturday. And the people are saying that I was too hard with Mr. Young. Imagine that.
And I saw some screenshots of that too, where a lot of persons are not happy. They're saying that you were. I didn't get to see that one.
Yes,
But I know you, neighbor. I know. I think a lot of persons don't understand you, neighbor. I know you, neighbor. You facilitate your program, neighbor. You play like a devil's advocate sometimes.
And Scratchy, that's what me did point out, that we kind of did sense the fact that he might be accommodating to the program and the fact that he have a prominent guest on it, right? And the conduct and the utterance was not.
Yeah, that's what neighbor is doing. I want to understand.
He might try to maintain a level of hospitality.
Watch me. Mr. Young.
At the same time, a neighbor program, a neighbor have a billing program, and people have to understand, say, a neighbor program, a neighbor might be 500 viewers, but neighbor want to go 1,000 viewers. So neighbor, you're right. You're at your own.
I learned from the best. I learned you guys out there. I learned from the best. You hear me? I am not taking on my own hat, but I know exactly what I am doing, and I think the listeners have enjoyed the style.
yes, neighbor. You have a good style, but as I said, neighbor, I mean, I think you need to, as Casey was saying, neighbor, you're the moderator. Yes, Philippian is no, you're the host. I mean, Philippian is a moderator. Sometimes neighbor, Philippian don't have that control neither in certain way. Don't want to control Philippian and it going to seem disrespectful by muting someone or removing them out of the box. I think as a host neighbor, you have to be more commanding of your platform. You know what I'm saying? It's not regular. The platform is like this. You have a decent, wonderful platform neighbor. You have one of the most decent platforms on TikTok. So this is not something that happens regular. It's just a one-off situation. And it's like nothing is perfect. We'll get that. But I think for the sake of the viewers neighbor, and for the sake of even Philippian, because Philippian is someone here who started this program with us as well, neighbor. And
yes.
And I think sometimes, you know, when I read Philippian,
can't get too rude.
No, when I read Philippian comments, sometimes I can feel like Philippians is not feeling the host. And as a moderator, I think the moderator and the host should be on the same part, neighbor. So yeah, I think you need to reason with Philippian neighbor, because Philippian is someone that good who can, you know?
Yes. All in all, Scratchy, it is better when we have these type of people to reason with. So we're better off compromising, meaning even if the guy is being a habitual liar, we still have to bite the tension. Why? This is the hierarchy, man, we're trying to put down in terms of the lies that he's coming with. So this is the better opportunity rather than have a orange call. Them not cannot wait like this, man.
Yeah, because this man is on a balance. This man is
disrespectful and run him.
This man is on a balance.
Figure run Crawford, figure reason with Oren Cole. Figure run Crawford, figure reason with Hugh Richards. Come on, man. Figure run Crawford, figure reason with Seabreeze. We don't want to great Crawford for thin skin and go reason with excellence or Vice of the Nation. We have to brother. Me not stop telling you, look here, neighbor. I have a different view from a lot of people. That is why I just chat certain way, because people for understand this. We have to play with cards literally like how the Prime Minister played.
Prime Minister,
Prime Minister touting Mark. You think the Prime Minister don't know say Mark is being a devil to him, and yet he finds time to tout him? We have to act like him.
And the Prime Minister said it nicely.
Counter lies, right? Or the Labour Party allowed the PMP to continue with this false narrative, and they're not doing anything about it. I think when Damien tried to double down and spin and lie, that is exactly what we were doing tonight. I must stand by how me feel. I'm in a like lies, and I was not.
But we wouldn't get the chance. Now the first day you have come here, alright, your anger, you wouldn't have gotten a chance. Anger unless he came here.
Hold on, Gusto. Remember the Prime Minister said it in a nice way. No, you take punches and him rock with the punches little bit. But after him rock with the punches, eventually the knockout punch go come.
Yeah, man, you have to be more
simple as that.
Yo, the guy rattled my feathers. I know it. I know the guy is disingenuous. I know, neighbor, but I know that's what he's here for. So we actually prepared. So I know he ain't gonna talk long to please us. And if he does, neighbor, he's gonna try to take credit somewhere or the other. My job is to take the guy on a different path to make sure that we show him that he's a liar.
Successful without Damien, and we can get Labour.
It's not about Philippians. Damien can more weight than me and you. Damien, listen to me. Let us face reality, man. Damien can more weight than me and you. So if we get a chance to debate Damien, we don't blow it. So we could have and preach facts till we blow. Damien Crawford carry more weight than all of we. So no matter what you make, how you make him feel, how you make you feel. Me and you don't carry the weight. No matter how we have the truth and the facts, we do not carry the weight as a Mr. Crawford. So if we have him here at the perfect opportunity to score points, even if he wants score points, the fact is we have enough information to back us. The tempo not necessary to deal with Crawford. It is not necessary. So you see, all who discrediting Crawford say man nobody nonsense. When Crawford speak, more people hear that me and no.
Yeah, but Gusto, me back up what you say is that we gain more mileage when we debunk.
When we deal with them a type of money here.
Well, of course.
But at the same time, right, is that me I try to say like originally when you come up in there, my question was not about
mute me the neighbor.
I was not trying to come up to talk about the fiscal discipline, you know, when I saw him. Originally, I wanted to debunk the approach that he took to the school buses as the next education minister.
Philippians?
Yes. Yeah.
You are a moderator for this program, and I appreciate you. But you can't be lowering the standards, Philippians, by cussing bad word in the program.
The man, no nearby the money that get me out, me couldn't manage. If that get me out tonight.
So what if I start?
Me never like it. Me need to talk to somebody. Jesus Christ. Me go call him, me go call because him wrap up with him wife.
I can give you MOH.
But me go call him as soon as me only him alone understand.
Counselor.
Neighbor, you know who me talk. And we all need to talk about this. We all need to talk about this. We're going to meet soon because me can't deal with this. The lies, me can't deal with it, neighbor.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, how do you lay a path and then you muddy it? How do you do that?
It's not my man. What you say, neighbor?
You lay a path and then you muddy the path. That's not nice.
Neighbor, we can't allow Damien to come over here and lie to our face.
Neighbor, remember this is not neighbor. Is that this is also a structure, the foundation of your platform. Is that it as much as you remain a neutral pastor.
Let me continue to say she was here when there were 3 people. And you know why she said that? She says that. And I'm saying to you that she can't help build something and then she'll break it down.
Yeah, but neighbor, at the same time, we expect
but
the same
Damien, come over here, come do the same thing.
Philip, you know, hear Damien confess to the platform, say if he want to make a point, he go to the gleaner. We cannot stop him from talk. So we think that we can muzzle Damien because he's a neighbor's platform. That won't put an overall muzzle on Mr. Crawford.
But neighbor, look at it this way, neighbor.
I ain't gonna put an overall muzzle on him, sis.
Hold on, before you come in, Gustav. All he needs to do is to put out a tweet and it becomes
just a tweet, my neighbor.
Exactly.
So if we try to muzzle Mr. Crawford here, it's neither here nor there, neighbor. Crawford has more weight than you, me, and all of we combined. Hands down, whether we like it or not.
And neighbor, remember this, this is your principle, and as much as you remain a neutral platform, right? Truth is what you build this platform on, is that is the core of this platform, and this is why it's well respected, because you don't allow the lies to swing, right? So you have to maintain your level of integrity also. When you hear Damien blatantly trying to mislead us, your viewers, that
Yes, and we're going this back over again. And
yes, neighbor, we want you to stand up. We want you to stand up. And that's what I felt.
So we want neighbor to be the fact checker, basically.
I felt about it the most because I felt like you were not defending the truth.
Well, I am standing up.
You were more about, the senator. It wasn't about God not liking ugly and lies.
That's why your integrity is important to this program.
I just stood up. That you want me to stand up? Philippians?
But Eddie, that hurt me, neighbor. I feel agitated. I'm not lying.
What you say? Why you want me to stand up? Why you want to stand up? What? Tell me exactly.
Me 1 minute, neighbor. Me 1 minute.
You gotta know when to hold it.
Oh boy.
Cause me can't control my mind. I don't know why me can't control my mind, neighbor.
Yes, Barry.
So
and because neighbor is a man of the cloth, he should not tolerate lies.
I am not
lying man.
I am not a man of the cloth.
Let's go and keep it up, neighbor. You do a good job.
Yes, neighbor.
But hold on. It is my support, like you people, that come on and point out some of these misconceptions, misunderstanding. Trust yourself, man. Trust yourself.
But neighbor, I personally felt like you were being bewitched by the presence of Damien Crawford. Right?
Yes, I felt the same.
Yes, I felt like you were mesmerized.
I felt like you felt you were in the presence of some celebrity, and we were
I tell you something.
Back up.
Your listeners. We were just peasants.
No.
That's how I felt.
My feeling here is that Senator Crawford is online. Senator Crawford, a legislator in Jamaica, is online. And if a legislator is online, I believe that the legislator ought to be treated with a level of respect.
But don't let him disrespect your integrity, sir. I don't agree.
What disrespect?
Don't let him lie to your face and you're gonna agree on
what disrespect?
Don't your integrity. Don't let him, as much as he's a legislator and he's a senator and he stands in a very high position and we respect that. But your integrity as us, your daily viewers, you are probably more important to us than Crawford because we maintain a relationship 5 hours, 6 hours a day, right? So your integrity of standing for truth, we don't want you to void that.
I'm going to share something with you 100 live. Scratchy is on. I don't invite politicians here, you know, sir. So when Philippians is talking about starstruck, I don't invite them. I don't invite them, sir.
Because the program will grow nearby.
They want to come.
The program big, so you reach them for you page and then see how much numbers they had daytime, so it offend them because you understand. And when you close your live, you see 20,000K, you see 30K, right? Viewers today, right? And we also see sometimes we see the number. So when you understand what I'm saying about. So we want you to maintain your integrity at the end of the day, disregardless of who are the position of the person. Even the prime minister, we want you to maintain integrity. Same way. We stand for truth, we stand for facts. Don't come tell us the 2014 the fiscal discipline was passed and expect we're gonna just move on. And just because you're a demon, you get to say that and walk away. No, yeah, I understand.
Well,
but
sir,
in maintaining
sir,
our integrity, we do not have to become combative. Let us also be mindful of that.
Yeah, the respect is due. The respect is mutual. That is.
But 100 live. When Crawford up on the live and we up on it, any live we tell her that's why you there, or that's why me there, and the Philippian there, that's why she there here. So anybody with up on the live, with up on our side, that's why we there here. Crawford is here for one objective, one ulterior motive, and that's why the platform is an open platform for two sides of us. So therefore, anything where Crawford say that is not right, that's a reason why we're here. So to tell neighbor say him can't allow him to, we not allow it because we also have a presence. So all we have to do is a neighbor allow us to debunk or refute the lie. But to ask the host to play our role, a joke thing like say we're not here. So that's the reason why we have a presence here. Yes, me still understand where you come from, but be mindful. Neighbor also has a platform where much I build to make sure say even after politics he can strive. So we don't want comrades feel like them can't talk over here, even if them are going to tell lie. That's the reason why we're here, man. We're playing a patriotic duty to our country. And these people are destined for power. They are here to spread only informations to suit them. We are here to make sure that the people are not digestive of misinformation, misleading information, or lies. Come on, man. Neighbor said repeatedly, we equip with facts. We should not ever come on TikTok and try to lie. None of on fam. So if them come with lie, what you think we they here for? But me raise my case again. Mute me here, sir.
Robert Miller, are you listening, sir? It's late in the night. 5 minutes to 11 o'clock. We want to talk to you. We want to talk to you one of these evenings here. Sorry. Jamaica girl, it's your birth night, and we have 4 minutes. Let's see if we can wrap up. No, 4 minutes. Tari, go with your one.
Yeah, Rockstone never put me on the spot again. Okay. I will just say that yes, you may not respect the person, but respect the office. You can debunk, and I agree that we must debunk, and we should not allow people to come on the platform and mislead. But let us also not be combative. We are, as neighbor would say, neighbor is very impartial about how he operates, right? And it should never be a case where a PNP person should come over here, as Gusto said, and never feel as if they can't speak. They can speak. The issue is whenever you speak something and it is misleading the people. And once again, as we state, you can debunk what is being spewed to mislead people, but there is no need to be combative. That's all that we're saying. So in all things, just try to maintain your conduct, really.
Okay, you are going to do
like the
a
Prime
recap.
Minister.
You're going to do a recap when you're through.
Yeah,
100 live.
Yeah. Before I leave, be civil in all things, yes, but labor rights. Don't be timid. Don't be weak. Don't be dumb. Labor rights. A facts we run
True.
with, and labor rights we're in an election era, and we have to make the passion real. Fiscal discipline is Bruce Golding, baby, led by the Andrew Holness labor. So shower labor right, third term loaded, fifth term, fourth term loaded, and the passion goes on. It's just a lovely country, neighbor. And thank you for being a very hospitable person, a cordial person, a very civil person. Really appreciate it. So.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.
Say greetings, Kanyam. King? King?
Yes, neighbor.
What's going?
Just do you tell Ty to repeat the thing there, the count them before the end of live.
He's gonna do that, you hear?
Okay.
Good.
Alright.
Philippians?
Yes, neighbor, once I'm around, the lies will die here. I won't tolerate it. Yes, that is all I have to say.
Once you're around, what?
The lies dies. The truth will live on.
The lies, okay.
Yeah.
You need to calm down, though.
I'll try.
No, but neighbor, what we're going to do, I said that I will volunteer to be the fact checker, so I'll do what I can.
You'll be on with us. I'll talk to you after.
Yeah, I'll volunteer to be the fact checker.
Thank you. Live fact
Yes,
checker.
I agree. Let Tari do it. Yeah, I agree.
Good. Thank you. Scratchy?
Yes, neighbor. Neighbor. You cannot like what I say. You did a wonderful job, neighbor.
Why?
Thank you. Just continue to keep it up, neighbor. I have no issue with what you're doing, neighbor. Just continue to stay steadfast in it. But constructive criticism, I think it's 100% okay. Constructive criticism, look into it, see what you need to fix and come back stronger. And the reason why I think a lot of persons are coming on and coming at the neighbor, I think because this is a platform neighbor that a lot of persons look towards in the evening. Constructive information and arguments that can help them make up their mind and make a decision, And the next thing I would ask neighbor, we're coming closer to the election, neighbor. I think we're too close, neighbor. We need to be more pinpoint on topics that directly affecting the voters, or topics that voters really want. You don't have to make a Damian Crawford come on today and talk about physical who introduced that bill and that. Come on, neighbor. We know majority of the voters who we are trying to get to don't care who introduced no physical responsibility or who this or who that.
Yes.
You get me? So we need to be more targeted towards that demographic, neighbor. It's too close. I think we still have some more of them who can get to, neighbor. And sometime again, neighbor, I know that we have different type of platforms. But again, let's keep up the good work, neighbor. Me and we reason after the year. We talk after the year, we still kind of.
Yeah, man. Give me a ring. You hear?
Yeah, man. Me we talk after the year. But so far, so good, neighbor. Keep it up, same way, man.
Bless your heart. Good. You must come back often, man. Sure.
Yeah, neighbor. You will definitely see me, neighbor. Me, my neighbor, I reside in a country, neighbor, where almost half of the country is winter, and half is summer, So when it comes to summer, neighbor, I'm busy.
Yes. All right. Great. My goodness, what's happening? Gustav,
neighbor,
you have the final word. Barry, hold on. Gustav?
Oh, you have to unmute him.
Okay. Yes, neighbor. I don't know why I don't have control of my mic all of a sudden. But anyway, neighbor, I don't have to repeat what Scotty said. I agreed exactly with what Scotty would have said. But neighbor, I want to say this. The PMP must get credit for one thing. The Jamaica Labour Party under the Bruce Golding administration created the fiscal rules. The PMP had no option than to maintain them. Now, neighbor, that's how the PMP has to get their credit. The Prime Minister emphasized on that. However, Jamaicans, we must understand that the benefits that are deriving today are because of the policies, the strategies, and executions of these policies. While we are enjoying a reduction in crime, we're also seeing a reduction in unemployment because of the fiscal policies that are different. The Andrew Holness-led administration has different fiscal policies that are better off for the Jamaican people, also Jamaica as a whole, and that is why we're enjoying the benefits that we're enjoying today. So even with the PMP getting this credit or their credit, sir, they're only deserving of the credit because they had no choice but to adhere to the already existing rules that were implemented by the Bruce Gordon-led administration, and therefore they can get the credit for maintaining some of the discipline. However, Jamaicans, it is through policies, strategies, and programs that we can enjoy the benefits that we're enjoying today. And the Andrew Holness administration has better policies, better strategies, and better execution results that are beneficial to the Jamaican people.
Thank you so much.
Well said, bro.
Barry is going to sing. Barry?
Yes, neighbor.
Hi.
I am out of jail, neighbor. I appealed my case and I guess I won.
Yes.
So they reinstated me this evening.
Wow.
Take out a TikTok jail.
That's right. So neighbor, it was a very good program, and I just want to. I was listening all along and typing in the chat. I just wanted to say, neighbor, that Mr. Crawford is actually telling us what if his government forms. If his party forms a government, he will change the fiscal rules to suit their party. And even though we have a fiscal responsibility framework, he said the rules are not cast in stone, and they will. And that's the point he wanted to get across, that they will change the rule to suit them. And they would have actually changed the rule in 2014 to actually increase the deficit so that they can spend more money. And basically, that's what he was telling all of us. But without going any further, it was a very good program. And I'd like to wish Jamaican girl a very happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. This is your day. This is your day, your day. Happy birthday to you. You're so lovely in so many ways. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jamaican girl.
Woo, woo,
What a show tonight.
love again.
Well, I'm on my way to Portmore.
Before you leave, sir, can I ask you something personal?
Have a date with Jamaica girl, eh? Late night date. Oh.
Before you leave, sir, can I ask you something?
Neighbor, open discussion says he's asking something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Based on I was out listening to the conversation when Mr. Crawford was here, and I would just like to know your stand and what you take away from what happening. Your personal takeaway from what happened tonight, where he's concerned.
Listen to
we
me.
We discussed already.
Open discussion.
No. I hear it, but I'm asking him.
Let me answer. Mr. Crawford is a politician. I respect the intelligence of my listeners, because if they were not intelligent, they wouldn't be listening. Mr. Crawford is a politician. Mr. Crawford is not only a politician, but Mr. Crawford is a bright man. He lectures at the university. And finally, Mr. Crawford is interested in the PNP returning to power. And so Mr. Crawford's argument are going to be skewed towards that. Let the listeners decide. It's not for me. I'm not here to stick up Mr. Crawford and to show up Mr. Crawford. That's not my responsibility. I see my responsibility is to ask questions. Ask questions. When the listeners have heard and they have heard rebuttals, they will decide. I don't need to tell Mr. Crawford that he's lying. I don't. Quite frankly, I can fact check and I can point out inadequacies in his argument. But ultimately, we do this program for the listeners. I want my guests and the people who listen to me to know that I am serving the listeners. 228 of them are still here at 7 minutes after 11 o'clock. There must be a reason why they are staying on. They have options. And it is for the listeners to make up their minds, having listened to the argument, who they're going to choose. I mean, for example, I hear that I am being criticized for asking Damian Young, why is he training 70 people for farm work tickets when he's a representative? So I mustn't ask him that question. I'm not employed by the Labour Party. I'm conducting a show. And I take a position. Yes, and I conduct this show in terms of how I think people ought to get information. I'm not a mouthpiece for the Labour Party. If the Labour Party wants to do PR, they know where to go. My duty on this program is to ask questions, to probe, to ask questions that I think the listeners want to ask. So I put myself in the listeners' shoes. And I said, what would my listeners want me to ask this man? Those are the questions I ask. Whether I know the answer or I don't know the answer. And if I pretend like I don't know, like I'm ignorant, it's because I want my listeners to benefit. Yes, sir?
Okay, sir, I was putting you in a yes or a no situation. I just wanted to hear your views on it. And well said, I can accept that.
Yes, but I think the challenge that many people are having is that there are labels. You notice JLP Live, PNP Live. That's where the labels come from. So once you are on a live and you are discussing politics, people expect you to take a side.
No, I wasn't expecting you to take a side, sir. I just wanted to hear.
Do you appreciate, though, that they say...
Yeah, I appreciate everything that you said.
JLP Live.
Yes.
Even Crawford himself said it's a JLP Live. No,
no,
no.
Am
I wearing a green shirt? What
no,
makes
sir,
it a
I wasn't
JLP
here.
Live?
No, sir, I wasn't here to place your show in where I think it. No, man, I'm telling you, I wasn't here. The question was asked. And it might seem that way, but I can honestly say that's not how it is. I wasn't here to put your show in either position. I just wanted to know what you take away from everything that was said. That's it.
Yeah. Well, he said it, that this is a JLP Live. Now, I'm not offended by that, but I'm perturbed. And you know why I'm perturbed, sir? Because if I put on a green shirt tomorrow, people are going to say I'm a labor right. Then what must I do with my green shirts that I have in my closet? What must I do with them? Or what if I drive a green car? Yes? No, I didn't even know that the majority of people that listen to this program are labor rights. I didn't know that. I thought that people listen for information. Yes?
As I said, sir, I was placing you in either situation. I just wanted to know because I was there for a long time. I was there before the guy even come up listening. So when him come now, I just say, well, you know what, before you close, let me ask you how you felt and what was going on in based on what you have said, not me or any other listeners.
Mr. Crawford said he listens to the program all the time and he likes the program.
Okay.
I suspect that he likes listening Labour Party things. Really? I don't think so. I think he appreciates, the information that comes out here. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Enough respect.
Neighbor, remember,
Tara is going to do the review.
Of my heart, but there's someone who's torn it apart.
First cut is the deepest, 12 minutes after 11 o'clock. Huh?
It's all that I had, but if you wanna try to love again, baby, I'll try.
Over to you, Tari. Over to you.
All right, good night again, listeners. It is 13 minutes past 11 o'clock. Tonight, what a night it has been, neighbor. What a night it has been.
Yes.
But I'm just gonna recap really what was done. So for those who are just joining in or who weren't here earlier, I would have stated that last week we looked at the safe seats for the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party, in which we ascertained that there are 34 safe seats across the country. Safe seats meaning that KC is sure that he's 90% sure that these seats won't flip, regardless of if there's a massive PNP or JLP swing, right? So at the night of the election, you can already essentially mark off these seats, as these seats are not expected to change. So I'm just gonna say the safe JLP seats and then go to the safe PNP seats. So for the safe JLP seats, we have Clarendon Central.
I didn't know that you were going to go through all of them. Tari, I thought you were just going to give the numbers.
Oh, you just want the numbers?
Yeah, that's going to take you.
I don't know, because some persons were asking for the.
No, man, it's 14 minutes after 11 o'clock. We need to go.
All right, you just want me. Okay, no problem. All right, cool. All right, so today we looked at the lean seats and we said that there are 15 lean seats for the JLP and 8 for the PNP. And when we added it up to how much we had for the safe seats, if the election were to be held today, the Jamaica Labour Party would have 41 seats, to the People's National Party 16 seats, and there would still be 6 seats that are too close to call. Meaning, therefore, that the Jamaica Labour Party could have either a lower of 41 or a upper bound of 47, and the PNP can have a low of 16 or an upper bound of 22, right? Based on the 6 too close to call. But going over the numbers again, 41 seats for the Jamaica Labour Party, 16 seats for the People's National Party, and there are 6 seats that are too close to call.
Thank you.
If you wanna.
All right, listeners, until tomorrow.
Try.
Until tomorrow. Huh? We're not going to always satisfy everyone, and sometimes you may end up being a little disappointed. But I'm sure you're going to be coming back tomorrow, won't you? Sure, you're going to be coming back tomorrow to this your favorite show. So until tomorrow, just around 5 o'clock or just after.
Good night again, listeners. Good night, neighbor. Sleep well, guys. Yes, take care.
We need to have a meeting. We're going to sit. Maybe this weekend or the next weekend, but we're coming to Old Harbor, and we have to sit and have this meeting. Okay.
You need to call me.
Okay, I don't have court until Thursday, so my commissioner is coming Wednesday, yeah.
If you wanna try to love again, baby, I'll try to love again.
Cheryl Crow, good night. Here's how we leave you tonight with the voice of Karen White. Karen White taking us out at 21 minutes after 11 o'clock. Until tomorrow, take care of yourself. Voice of Miss Karen White on your big show. Take care. Take care, everybody.